Tonight we are reading Serious Money, playing Celia Todd and Mrs. BIDDULPH.
And Andresano.
Playing Jake Todd, FROSBY, and GREVETT.
Harley Diamond.
Playing ZACKERMAN.
Michael Janove.
Playing MERRISON, TK, and NIGEL.
Chris Carlson.
Playing DURKFELD, GREVILLE Todd, DUCKETT, SOAT, and GLEASON.
Whoa.
Yeah, Tom Kane.
Playing MARYLOU BAINES, Mrs. ETHERINGTON, and DOLCIE STARR.
Tianna Tagami.
Vino Tinto.
Playing JACINTA CONDOR.
Emily Stone.
And playing Grimes and Billy Corman.
Richard Thompson.
Act 1, a scene from The Volunteers or The Stock Jobbers by Thomas Shadwell.
Now, none of these roles are assigned.
Oh.
Not too long. It's just one page.
Okay. Who wants to
do melee?
I'll be first jobber.
Okay.
I'll be second jobber.
And I can be Mrs. Hackwell.
Perfect.
Oh, and 2 jobbers. Okay.
This is the end of it. This is the last time they do this.
Tom, you be Hackwell?
Oh, you want me? Oh, okay. All right. Here we go.
You're there. I see you. Just do it.
Here I am. Well, have you been inquiring? What patents are they soliciting for? And what stocks to dispose of?
Well, in truth, there is one thing like me well. It will go all over England.
What's that? I'm resolved to be in it, husband.
Why is it a mousetrap that will invite me all the mice in, nay rats too, whether they will or not? A whole share before the patent is £15. After the patent, they will not take 60. There is no family in England will be without them.
I take it to be the great undertaking, but there is a patent otherwise on foot for one walking underwater. I'll share £20.
It would have been a great use to carry messages under the ice this last frost, be it would bear.
Look, the lamb, between us, it's no matter whether it turns to use or not. The main end, what? The main end, verily, is to turn the penny in the way of the stock jobbing, that's all.
There is likewise one who will undertake to kill all fleas in all the families in England.
There is likewise a patent moved for of bringing some Chinese rope dancers over, the most exquisite in the world. Considerable men have shares in it.
But verily I question whether this will be lawful or not.
Look thee, brother, if it be the good end, and that we ourselves have no share in the vanity or wicked diversion thereof, by beholding of it, we only use it whereby we may turn the penny. Always consider that it is like to take, and the said shares will sell well. Then we shall not care whether the aforesaid dances come over or no.
There is another patent in agitation for flying. A great virtuoso undertakes to outfly any post horse 5 miles an hour. Very good for expresses and intelligence. Mrs. Hackwell.
Sorry, I was muted. May one have a share in him too?
Thou mayest.
Look ye, brethren, hie it into the city and learn what we can. We are here to have a consultation at my house at 4 to settle the matters as to lowering and heightening shares. Lamb, let's away, we too shall be late.
3 different dealing rooms simultaneously. All have screens and phone. Shares first, gilts, and then paper.
It's quite a large placement, and what we've done is taken them onto our own books. One of the first deals of this kind we've done since Big Bang. Yes, it's Unicorn Hotels, whom of course you know. They've acquired a chain of hotels in Belgium. And the main thing is there's their perfect mirror of their hotels here. 70% business, 3 and 4 star. They acquired them for 16 million. The assets are in fact valued at 11 million, but that's historic. And they're quite happy about that. The key to the deal is there's considerable earnings enhancement. It was a private owner who got into trouble, and not bankrupt, but a considerable squeeze on his assets. And they were able to get them cheap. I can offer you 1 million shares. They're 63 to 4 in the market. I can let you have them at 62.5 net. And the moment the profits are 14 million pre-tax, which is 11 million, the shares pay 4.14 with a multiple of 13.3. With the new hotels, we expect to see profit of 20 million next year, paying 5.03, with the multiple falling to 12, so it's very attractive. This is only the beginning of a major push into Europe. Essentially, the frontiers have been pushed back quite considerably. I would show them to Joe in New York, but I think it's only 5 in the morning. He's usually quite yielding when he's in bed, but I don't think he wants to start a whole new story.
Hey, I'm longing on these bastards.
Who's the mate?
Reason I sell, they'd be above the mark.
Now, SCILLA, STARR 3.
10x3, 10x3. That's much, is it?
6 bid.
What are you doing tonight?
4 for 10. 4 for 10. Are you looking at me? 4 for 10.
SCILLA.
Yes, we sold them.
What are you doing tonight?
Going out later. Hang on. 4 for 10. Nothing doing. Will you go to 5? 5 for 10. 5 for 10.
Bid 28 at the figure.
I'm only making a tick.
Leg out of it.
Grimes.
Futures are up. Champagne bar at 6.
Selling one at the figure. I'm lifting a leg.
We got you 10 for 5 bid, okay? Yes. Champagne bar at 6. Yes.
Now get off the fucking line, will you please?
1 bid, 1 offered.
No, it's 5 bid at 6. I can't help you, I'm afraid.
Now, is it a seller or a buyer? Now, he don't want to take us because he don't want to pay commission.
Offered it 4, thanks very much, but nothing done.
5 March at 28. What we long of?
No, it's gone to 29.
29 bid. All right, 9 for 5.
9 for 5, 9 for 5. Terry.
You better keep up. I'll be off in a minute.
I'll make you a price. What you want to do?
Bid 4. I'm off.
There was offered us 4. Bid 3.
3 months sterling opened at 89.27 for March delivery, and they've been trading in a 4-tick range.
Can't help you. There's a fucking seller trying to make us pay up.
Bid 3.
I think you should buy them.
Bid 4. Bid 4 at 6.
No, it's quite quiet. 9 for 5 a deal.
You're getting good at this. Extra poo tonight.
2 bid at 5. Am I still cheap?
So 5 for 9. So 5 for 9 bid.
It looks as if they may finish at 25.
What shall we do overnight?
Yeah, I'll be long.
You won't be too long.
Hey, closing out now at 4.
Doing the long end.
How shall I mark these? 2 or 3?
3.
Does it make a lot of difference to you?
100,000.
You must have made that trade in the last half hour.
If you've lost any cards, Dave, I'm not helping you.
Paper. Jake and another dealer sitting side by side. 2 salespeople who shout from behind. Loud American sound, though they're not. I tell you, what else is there? Sweden just called.
If you want to jump out the Hambro bandwagon, you better hurry.
We also have 2 Japanese. I'll make those 88-6.
Sweden, first 10 has been called. How do we go these days?
There's also an issue coming up again. The new BFC for World Bank. I've just sold some paper like that.
They're not taken. I'll give you a level.
So we go ahead.
Let's wait a few minutes before we have the whole world crashing down on us.
Case Corporation 68.88. We can bash you in with one arm. He's got a black belt in karate.
He's a very nice guy.
What I suggested was swapping into something longer, 3s or whatever,
I've been talking to Hong Kong.
because it's up to 14.
We're waiting on the Bundesbank here.
He doesn't care at the moment, David.
Paris intervention rate still up 8%. Buy 10. It's done.
And 2 are at 13/16. It's a softer tone today.
He just said to me 590. I said it's done. He would have done 610, wouldn't he? He would have done 610, wouldn't he?
Oh, get back on.
We have Frankfurt here. Frankfurt, guys. Discount rate remains 3%. Lombard 5. By 2s. 2s.
He said to me now 595. Okay, that would be great.
Tokyo 1 month. 4.28125.
Discretion is my middle name. Tell me. You said you were going to tell me after lunch what you brought some. What, you bought some?
He broke an arm wrestling with the treasury bond dealer.
Going down. How fast do you want it to go down? You're in profit, 7 to 8. 7, 8, right. 7,
Listen,
8.
guy, listen. Lombard, intervention, steady at 5.
It takes 6. Now you're not going to take it at 6. If it goes at 7, you're such a sleaze. You're not really a man of honor. And you said you'd tell me after lunch. I didn't know. The guy dealt with Citibank, but got back to him too late. That's what your best was? Tell me, futures are crashing off.
The Maury poll put the Tories 4 up.
We're going to lose power any minute. That's official.
What the fuck?
So the 3-month interbank sterling rate, no, it's a tick under.
We have Milan, 3 months, 11.5.
There's a discrepancy between band 2 and band 3. I thought it might give us some arbitrage possibilities.
Come on, guy.
What's with the ECU linked deposits for Nomura?
Now hurry, guys, hurry.
Marvelous.
Power goes out.
Marvelous.
The market moves in the big way. We'll get creamed.
They left us a whole lot of orders we're meant to be filling.
I have to speak to Zurich.
So what happens now? They go elsewhere, bozo. At the Life Champagne Bar. SCILLA, her brother Jake, Grimes, drinking together in the champagne bar.
Oh, he's muted. You're muted.
Thank you. Offer me 60, right? So next day, the other lot 75, okay? So I go to the boss and I go, I don't want to trouble you. And he goes, all right, you cunt, don't mess about, how much you want? So I go, why not? I do double what I'm getting now. And he goes, fuck off. Meanwhile, ZACKERMAN rings, and this'll make you smile. He goes, I'll give you 100 grand, plus the car and that, and 50 in your hand. But no thinking about it, no calling back. This is my first and last. I say, Zach, a good dealer don't need no time to think. So here you go. Have another drink.
So there's 27 firms dealing gilts.
Where there used to be 2.
Half the bastards don't know what to do.
Those of you that do have got it made.
And all 27 want 10% of the trade.
So naturally, there's going to be blood spill.
10%. Go in there and get 50.
Everyone thinks it's Christmas and it's great to know they love you, but you mustn't forget there's plenty still above you. Think of the ones on top who can afford to pay us to make their money, and they're on the board.
They're for the chop.
I'm on the board.
True, you're on the board, but how many of us will make it to the top? If we've a Porsche in the garage and champagne in the glass, we don't notice There's a lot of power still held by men of daddy's class.
No, but most of them got no feel. For the market, Jake's the only public schoolboy what can really deal.
That's because I didn't go to university and learned to think twice.
Yes, but they regard us as the SAS. They send us in to smash the place up and get them out of a mess.
Listen, do you want my advice?
They'll have us on the scrap heap at 35.
I've no intention of working after I'm 30.
Unless we're really determined to survive, which I am.
It probably means you have to fight 30.
Listen, Nomura's recruiting a whole lot of Sloans. Customers like to hear them on the phones because it don't sound Japanese if you want to get in somewhere big.
Grimes, don't be such a sleaze. Daddy could have got me in the back door, but you know I'd rather be working on the floor. I love it down there with the oiks. It's more exciting.
When Scilla was little, she always enjoyed fighting. Better at it than me.
But it's time to go it alone and be a local. I'm tired of making money for other people.
Going to make $1 million a year?
I might do.
I tell you what, though. ZACKERMAN can recruit the very best because he's got the loot.
I told him for what he's getting from my team, why be a meanie? He got rid of the BMWs and got us each a Lamborghini. He's quite a useful guy to have as a friend, so I thought I'd ask him home for the weekend. Ha! He's talking to Dad about amalgamation. Klein needs brokers.
And Daddy needs a banker.
Won't survive without one, poor old wanker.
I told Dad his best bet's a conglomeration.
Some of them old brokers is real cunts.
But I've got to go to Frankfurt Friday night, so Scilla, you can drive him down, all right?
Yes, that's fine. I wonder if he hunts. I'm beginning to find ZACKERMAN quite impressive. I wonder how he got to where he is now.
My school reports used to say that I was too aggressive, but it's come to be quite useful. My old headmaster wouldn't call me a fool again. I got a transfer fee like a footballer. He thought I was a hooligan. He goes, "You fool boy, you're never going to get to work. What use is a CSC and metal work?" I could kiss his boots the day he kicked me out of school.
I'm the guy they're talking about, Zach. I'm here for my bank, Blind Merit, to buy up jobbers and brokers. I turn the best of them into the new market makers. The first time I realized how fast things were changing was something that happened at Klein's in New York a few years ago.
So I told him 83 was a great year. Profits were up 10 million in 82, on 82. But we can do better than that by far. Leverage buyouts are the way to go. I told him, take Kraft, put up 3 million to acquire Hoffman clocks, borrowed the rest of the 50 million. A year later, makes a public offering and pockets a whole. Sorry about that, guys. Take Kraft. Put up 3 million to acquire Hoffman clocks. Borrowed the rest for 50 million, and a year later makes a public offering and pockets the whole 50 million, plus he retains 30 million in stock. That's $80 million on his initial 3. And that's the taking a risk instead of a fee. We advise other people on acquisitions. They make the serious money. Fuck it all. The company should take its own positions. Partners should be willing to risk their own capital. I tell them, man is a gambling animal. Risk is one of the company's traditions. Old Benny Klein took risks. The latest news meant profit. They'd say in Wall Street, let the Jews have that one. And he would. Imagine the scene. Guy comes up and says, I can make the flying machine. I can make the flying machines. Benny puts up the money, doesn't bat an eye. He says, okay, so make the machines fly. When I was working with Henry under Nixon.
Jack, I heard this speech before.
Well, there were quite a few things needed fixing.
Jack, I heard it already.
So I'm a bore. Tell me, do you have a problem, Eddie? I trust you have no more trouble with your wife. It's a while since you took a good vacation. None of us gets enough relaxation. I never get. I never even get upstairs to get at the gym to get a massage. Tell me, what do you want out of life?
I'm a simple guy, Jack. I walk in the woods and shoot things. I don't talk so good as you. I'm good on my own. I shoot straight. I don't say, shall I, shan't I? You guys deliberate one hell of a lot. I walk on my own, and I know I could run this show on my own.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure I understand what you're saying.
I don't have the same alternatives a guy like you does. You say Henry, where I say Kissinger. You want to move? You've talked about some possibility for me? That's enough. I don't look beyond this company. You ready to go do that stuff?
Let me understand what you're saying here.
I want to go solo run and climb. I'm saying I'm suggesting you resign.
I just promoted you.
Oh, should I be grateful?
I made you my equal.
Jack, I hate you. Didn't you know that? You're not so smart. You're not too important to smell your own fart.
Eddie, I need to understand your problem.
These guys don't want me in their club. I don't give a rat's ass. Those guys would have looked the other way and let the cattle trucks pass. I don't want to play golf with those bastards. I don't even play golf. I can't walk without hitting a ball. I'm good at my job. I stay on the floor with the guys. Screw the paneling, screw the Picassos. I am not interested in office size. You like lunch? You have lunch. I run the best trading floor in New York City, and traders make $2 profit for this company. For every dollar made by you bankers. And you treat us like a load of shit. You make me your equal? I meant to say thanks for that. Thanks, Jack. Come off it. I make this company $80 million, and bankers pocket most of that profit. Bankers get on the cover of Time.
Brother, can you spare a dime?
I do okay, sure. I'm not talking greed. I'm talking how I'm meant to succeed. My father came to this country, forget it. Which of us does this company need? I'm talking indispensable.
And my father, you think I'm some kind of person? I was sweeping floors in my uncle's delicatessen. So don't, the company needs us both. Be sensible. There's two aspects to the institution. Nobody means to imply they underestimate your invaluable contribution. I need to understand what you are saying here. So let's see it, set a time, and you come in for further, we'll have a further talk.
You don't seem to get it. You're sitting in my chair. Walk.
And the guy walked. He walked for $20 million, but he walked. The financial world won't be the same again because the traders are coming down the fast lane. They don't even know it themselves. They're into fucking or getting a Porsche and a Mercedes-Benz, but you can't drive two cars at once. If you're making the firm $10 million, you want a piece of the action. You know you got it made the day you're offered stock options. There are guys that blow out, sure, stick too much whitener up their nose. Guys over 40 got any sense, he takes his golden handshake and goes. Because the new guys are hungrier and hornier. They're Jews from the Bronx and Spicks from Southern California. It's like Darwin says, survival of the fittest. Now, here in England, it's just beginning to hit. The British Empire was a cartel. England could buy whatever it wanted cheap and make a profit on what it made to sell. The empire's gone, but the city of London keeps on running like a cartoon cat off a cliff. Bang! That's your big bang. End of the cartel. Swell! England's been fucking the world with interest, but now it's a different scene. I don't mind bending over and greasing my ass, but I sure ain't using my own Vaseline. Now, as a place to live, England, swell. Tokyo treats me like a slave. New York tries to kill me. Hong Kong, I have to turn a blind eye to the suffering, and I feel wrong. London, I go to the theater. I don't get mugged. I have classy friends, and I go to see them in the country on weekends.
The meat of a hunt on horses are Zach, GREVILLE, stockbroker, his daughter Celia, and other hunt members. Mrs. Carruthers, Lady Vere, Major, and Farmer Frosby Jobber comes in late, on foot to watch. I need a farmer and a major.
I'll do the farmer.
I'll do the major. Go.
I could do the major.
Do it.
Okay.
The hound that I walked goes up front with the best.
The best of the pack is that cunning old bitch.
Somebody said they'd take Lady Vere.
Let me make sure I'm not. Oh, crying out loud. His fetlocks swell up, so I'll give him a rest.
Went over his neck and head first in the ditch.
Stand still, will you, damn it? Whatever's the matter?
Bottle of sherry he won in a raffle.
Hunt saboteurs made a terrible clatter.
You can't hold her, Greville. It's only a snaffle.
It's colder today, but the going's much quicker.
Jumped onto the land and the lawn and straight over the vicar.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't think you know Mr. Zackerman here, my colleague and guest.
The hound that I walked goes up front with the best.
Mr. Zackerman wants to join us, of course, and Mrs. Carruthers provided a horse.
Oh, he's terribly clever. Won't put a foot wrong. When he hears the horn blow, he'll be off like a rocket. His mouth's rather hard, and he is very strong. Don't fight him. He'll pull your arms out by the socket. There's not a horse safer and not a horse faster. So don't step on hounds and don't override master.
Making the most of the beautiful weather.
American fellow, a friend of my daughter, a colleague of mine. We'll be working together.
Left behind the gate and came off in the water.
The best of the pack is that cunning old bitch. Major?
Sorry, I'm totally lost. If somebody has it, maybe you could just...
It's Major.
It's
Major.
head first in the ditch.
Hunt, hey, wait, this is the same page. Okay. Hunt saboteurs made a terrible clatter.
Stand still, will you, damn it? Whatever's the matter? Priscilla insists upon working for Liffey. I was terribly doubtful, and so was my wife. The London International Futures Exchange, terrible place. Full of those frightful yobs. Hardly the spot for a daughter of mine. But she buys her own horses and takes her own line.
We've lost our head gardener, a bit of a chore.
I'm sure Mr. Zimmerman's hunted before.
Not a great deal, but I have been out a few times in Ireland with the Galway Blazers.
In that case, I'm sure you can give us a lead.
The girl's putting far too much oat in his feed.
Is it true?
Well, I saw both the start and the finish. I was on foot drinking plenty of Guinness.
There aren't any gates and I'm not waiting for you.
You're a tender-hearted. That's why I adore you.
It's colder today, but the going's much quicker.
Jumped onto the lawn and straight over the vicar. So Klein have taken over, Daddy. How long will it last? 5 years?
He could be lucky.
Not joining us, Frosby? Find horses a bore?
He's terribly clever. Won't put a foot wrong.
We've lost our head gardener again. Bit of a chore.
His mouth's rather hard, and he is very strong.
I like a stroll to see the meet. I'm happier on my own 2 feet. Is that chap there the American?
Yes, it's Klein, Zackerman.
Yanks go home. Yanks are robbers.
Zach, I want you to meet a colleague I've done a great deal of business with over the years. One of the jobbers, Mr. Frosby, Mr. Zackerman.
Mr. Frosby, I can't really talk. This horse won't stand still and he won't even walk.
When he hears the horn blow, he'll be off like a rocket. Don't fight him. He'll pull your arms out by the socket.
No more long lunches for me, Frosby. No more lying in bed. It's up at 6 now in the godforsaken dark, cold mornings. On the bright side, the company does have an excellent egg and bacon.
Some things change, some things don't end. After all, a friend's a friend.
So, don't step on hounds and don't override master.
Is this horse going to do what I tell it, Priscilla?
There's not a horse safer and not a horse faster.
It's generally known around here as a killer.
When I end up in bed with a broken leg, I only hope you're going to look after me.
Drop dead, bozo.
The horn blows. They all go in a rush, leaving Crosby alone.
The stock exchange was a village street. You strolled about and met your friends. Now, we never seem to meet. I don't get asked much at weekends. Everyone has a special name. We really had a sense of humor. And everybody played the game. You learned a thing or two from rumor. Since Big Bang, the floor is bare. They deal in offices on screens. But if the chap's not really there, you can't be certain what he means. I've been asked to retire early. The firm's not doing awfully well. I quite enjoy the hurly-burly. Sitting alone at home is hell. I can't forgive Greville. He's gone with that Yankee buying its way in, that whack, what's his name, Zach, trying to keep up with his children. His son Jake's one of those so-called market makers. Some of us have been making markets for 30 years. His daughter SCILLA works with those Barrow boys in Lift. You'd expect to see on a street corner selling Christmas paper and cheap waters. They earn more than I do. They won't last. I have a constant funny ache. I can't see straight because of grief. I really think my heart will break. Revenge would give me some relief. So now, I'll phone the DTI. Who wants a clean and honest city? Jake's no better than a thief. And why should I have any pity? I've cried, and now my friends can cry. I've had the ard up from Greville. I know how he gets it from Jake, and there's far more than I ever see. Let the DTI investigate. The city's not mine anymore, so let it fall. I love the masters in their pink. I'm glad traditions still exist. I think I'll go and have a drink. I love the valley in the mist. I'm very frightened.
This is MARYLOU Barnes' personal assistant.
Zach, I've got to speak to her this instant. I know it's 3 a.m. your time, but I know she's awake. Tell her it's about Jake.
Hi, Zach. This is TK here. Can I help you? What's the problem? Is it urgent?
Stop talking like a tub full of detergent. I've got to speak to her now, and not now, but 5 minutes ago.
Zach, is there something I should know?
Jake's dead. They think it's suicide.
Thank you, Zach. Jake was a nice guy, but I haven't heard from him since some time back. Put anything from Jake Todd in the shredder.
Lucinda, it's me. Bad news. Jake's been found shot. It looks like suicide because he was in some kind of trouble with the DTI. So far, nobody seems to know exactly what.
Zach? What? My God. He was the English colleague I liked the most, except for you. I hope I never meet his unhappy ghost. I look forward to meeting. Nigel, have you read the newspapers today?
No. What's the matter?
Don't panic, okay?
Zach, have you seen the fucking Times this morning? Why didn't Todd give us any warning? Why didn't he tell us about the DTI? Do you think he's talked?
Deny, deny, deny. Let them see what they can prove.
Jacinta.
MARYLOU, the delivery. You think we should wait a week?
Hold off for 24 hours, okay? We'll speak.
Mr. Corman, I'm deeply shocked that everyone associated with your company should be touched by the slightest breath of scandal.
The deal is in no way affected by his death. The deal is the priority.
Zach, your news is causing a certain amount of tension.
Can we still rely on you?
Sure, but never mention.
Hey, TK, MARYLOU?
Hello. This is the office of MARYLOU Baines. I'm afraid Miss Baines is not available right now to come to the phone, but if you wish to leave a message for her or for TK, her personal assistant, please speak for as long as you wish after the tone. Beep.
Fuck!
I went with Scylla to identify her brother, Jake's body, which was kind of a mess. Then we stopped for coffee, which was making me late for work, but it was a special occasion, I guess. I'd be good if we could handle this, so don't get associated with anything too scandalous. Just stick to no comment and let them make things up.
Unmute, unmute, unmute.
Zach, I told the police I had breakfast with Jake at Klein Merrick yesterday morning, just to say hello. But in fact, he gave me a warning.
They know the DTI paid him a visit.
But it wasn't just that. He was frightened of...
Well, what is it?
What was Jake like? Charming, clever, idle. He won, he lost, he cheated a bit. He treated it all as a game. Can you really imagine him killing himself for shame? He didn't know what honor meant. He wasn't telling me he was suicidal. He was telling me, oh, you may think this absurd, but I'm certain he must have been murdered.
Jake and Scylla at breakfast.
Don't let me worry you. I'm probably imagining it.
Have you shared a needle?
Not AIDS. I'm perfectly healthy.
At work, they ask for tea in an AIDS cup. They mean a disposable because the dishwasher...
Listen, I've a problem. Listen.
What?
No, never mind. You know, I left my diary at your place last week. You haven't got it on you.
Yes. Do you want... No, but I could...
Oh, hold on to it. No, maybe you'd better... No. Hold on to it. You can always burn it later. Fine.
Hang on, I lost my
it's
whole...
just...
I lost everything. Damn it. Hold on. Somebody read my lines.
Been there, done that. Anyway, this egg and bacon's lovely. Glad you ordered it.
Where are you now?
At breakfast.
Oh, God.
She will catch up. I'll go ahead, speak.
No, it's just I'm in a spot of bother with the authorities. But it's no problem. I'm sorting it.
What have you done?
Oh, out. It's more what the sorting out might lead to, because once I start...
Are you going to prison?
Oh, no, I'm not going to be in trouble at all by the look of it, but that's the problem. I'm going to be I'm probably paranoid about this.
Leave the country. Are you serious?
They've taken my passport. I just wanted to let you know in case anything... I haven't mentioned any of this to Dad, but when the shit hits...
No, don't get that started. Can I do anything?
No, it's all under control. I feel better talking to you. I didn't go to bed. You know how you get in the night. If anything happens to me,
Have some more coffee. What? Like what?
Shall I get you another croissant?
So what have they found out?
Jam with it.
You've been making a fortune. I think it's unfair of you not to have let me on it.
Oh, forget it.
Page 27.
Nobody sleeps in the middle of a deal. Oh, wait. I think we're at a different place. Page 27, you said?
Yeah, well, the pages aren't numbered, are they? No.
Just a little,
They are at the bottom. Yeah.
At the bottom.
at the bottom 26 for you.
Okay.
Okay. So leave the country. Are you serious? Is that about where we are?
Yes,
Okay.
I remember
Leave
that.
the country. Are you serious? They've taken my passport.
Back at the top of that page.
Yeah, they've taken my passport. I just wanted to let you know in case anything. I haven't mentioned any of this to Dad. The shit hits.
No, don't get Dad started. Can I do anything?
No, it's all under control. I feel better talking to you. I didn't go to bed. You know how you get in the night. If anything happens to me,
Have you more? Have some more coffee. Well, what? Like what happens? Like what?
Shall I get you another croissant?
So, what have they found out?
Yeah, I'm with it.
If you've been making a fortune, I think it's very unfair of you not to have let me in on it.
Forget it.
So, you haven't got it. That's great. So, clearly, he was frightened because he'd agreed to tell the DTI who else was involved, and they'd want to shut him up. If I can find out who they are, the murder's halfway solved. There's plenty of names and numbers here in his diary, so I'll start by contacting anyone who looks interesting in making my own inquiry.
Are you okay?
Yes, I feel terrific.
You'll just find out a whole lot of colleagues' numbers, and that won't tell you anything specific. My number's probably there, for God's sakes.
I'm going to find out who killed Jake.
Take a sedative, have a sleep, and then see how you feel.
Nobody sleeps in the middle of a deal.
You've always been lucky, so you don't abuse it. I mean, these guys, whoever they are, they could be dangerous. You're crazy at the moment. You're in shock.
I'll let you know what happens. Oh wait, I'm in shock. I might as well use it. I'll let you know what happens.
Jake's death was a shock for me too. And I kept thinking about a friend of his I just met. She was called JACINTA CONDOR, and we've been doing business together, and I knew she'd be quite upset. I want to order a number of tropical birds. Maybe 20? Don't tell me what kinds because I won't have heard. Yeah, parrots, cockatoos, marmosets. No, is that a monkey? Lovebirds, sure. Thinking some lovebirds. An assortment in good bright colors. I don't care the exact number, but plenty. No, not a cage, so much as a long aviary. Deliver a gift wrapped to JACINTA CONDOR at the Savoy, and the card should read, from Zach, as a small tribute to your beauty and bravery.
SCILLA and GREVILLE at GREVILLE's house.
Put yourself together, Daddy. What does it matter if Jake was a baddie?
Unmute, Tom.
Poor boy, who would have thought? I'd rather he'd been a failure. He used to want to emigrate and sheep farm in Australia. He could always rush in. He had no sense of balance. He could have done anything, you know. He had so many talents. Musician, politician, no obstacles in his way. If he'd done something else, he'd be alive today.
What was he up to, Daddy? If it was just insider dealing, it's not a proper crime like stealing. They say it's a crime without a victim. He'd hardly kill himself just because the DTI nicked him.
Damn it. Why should he die for something that's not a crime? It's not illegal in America, Switzerland, Japan. It's only been illegal here for the last few years. You have to use what you know. You do it all the time. That used to be the way you made a reputation, by having first-class contacts and first-class information. One or two greedy people attracted attention to it. Suddenly we all pretend Englishmen don't do it.
So, what was he up to, Daddy?
I've simply no idea.
Do you know who these people are? I've got Jake's diary here. MARYLOU BAINES.
MARYLOU BAINES was originally a poor girl from the plains. She set out to make whatever she wanted hers, and now she's one of America's top arbitrageurs, second only to Boski.
CONDOR, JACINTA.
Ah, very smart lady from South America who comes here every winter. Europe sends aid, her family says thanks, and buys Eurobonds in Swiss banks.
CORMAN.
Billy Corman, William the Conqueror, the great invader, a very high successful dawn raider. I don't want to hear anymore. Did Jake have friends like this? I wish he was still in baby and giving Daddy a kiss.
Pull yourself together, Daddy. Did he give you information?
Absolutely not.
I thought you might. I thought you might be in on it.
In on what?
Then aren't you annoyed? He kept it secret from you and didn't share what he'd got.
SCILLA.
Jake had powerful friends. That's clear from what you said. And that means powerful enemies who liked to see him dead. He wasn't brave enough to kill himself.
Absolute nonsense.
I'll start by calling on CORMAN.
Oh, security's terribly tight. He'll never agree to see you.
Don't worry. I'll get in somehow and see if it gives him a fright.
SCILLA, you don't seem to realize. Newspapers across the nation. I could easily lose my job if I lose my reputation. You and the yobs you work with are hardly worth a mention. Well, no one expects them to have any standards. But I have to keep very quiet and not attract attention. Unless it's all blown over, I think I'll stay in bed.
You never liked me, Daddy. Jake was always your favorite.
I don't like the louts you work with.
And you've got to pay for it.
Oh, poor SCILLA, are you suffering from feelings of rejection?
If I find out you were in on it, you're not getting my protection.
In on killing Jakey?
In on anything.
Darling, don't be difficult when I'm so awfully sad. I think Jakey was playing in a bigger league than Dad.
I've always been ashamed of you. Your drink and your pomposity.
SCILLA, the orcs you work with have made you a monstrosity.
If I find you're implicated in my investigation, the news of the world can have you.
Darling, you always did have a vivid imagination, like poor Mummy.
When I left SCILLA, I was back to work before Gorman's bid, because Gorman's bid for Albion was just reaching its peak. He'd been spending the night in the office the whole of that week. We've been building to this since the days a few months ago when Albion started, just one of the several deals, easy and slow. It started like this.
Corman, a corporate raider. Brown and Smith, industrial spies. Zach, Mrs. Etherington, a stockbroker.
Analyst reports are satisfactory, predicting high industrial synergy. I'll have it close to the chocolate biscuit factory. The management lacks driving energy. Tell me what you learned about the company.
Brown. I spent a week posing as a secretary. The working atmosphere is very pleasant. A shock to the chairman would be salutary. His presence at his desk is just symbolic. He disappears to fish and shoot pheasants. The managing director is alcoholic, but he's still everybody's favorite. His drink and driving ends him up in court. He gets the company to pay for it. The middle management are sound but lazy. The details will be found out in my report. The chief's marketing is going crazy.
Excellent. They'll put up no resistance. I'll sack them all, put them on new staff, maybe promote a few of their assistants. Too late for them to make the company over, because I'm going to take the company over. Now to the larger and still more inviting, I'll be on products. Fuck the analysts. What do they know? It's much more exciting. Is their chairman Gaga too, and their management director always pissed?
Smith.
Oh my.
No, he's sober and quite competent. Duckett runs a rather happy ship. I hear the head of sales is impotent. A very old director broke his hip. Apart from that, they all seem quite efficient. Employers feel considerable loyalty, and the factory has been visited by royalty.
Albion is obviously deficient. In management, old-fashioned and paternal. Those figures stink. I can make it earn a lot more for its shareholders, who are, the owners are after all. I will be far better run, streamlined, rationalized when it forms part of CORMAN enterprise. In any way I want it. Right, both targets will be hit. Now summon my war cabinet. Zach, I really like this company.
It'll take some stalking. It's a big, confident beast.
But I'm told you're a takeover artiste. Can you get it for me?
Robin, you're the buyer. I pride myself I can acquire the company, the client
Anyway, if it was easy, it'd bore me.
may desire. If I was defending Albion, you wouldn't stand a chance. We're going to need a whole lot of finance from somewhere.
ZACKERMAN, that's your ride on the fun fair. Now, Etherton, I want you to start a stealthy purchase of Albion stock. Don't frighten them. The price must hardly move. Just look quite healthy. We'll put nooses around their necks and suddenly tighten them.
Albion's price is 310. I shall acquire 20 million ordinary shares on your behalf, imperceptibly, and I shall let you know of any change.
Ride the range.
I don't think you'll find me lacking in assiduity.
I'm a great admirer of Etherton's ingenuity. Top brokers, for fuck's sake. And what you think I am? Brokers to royalty? When we tell Duckett I'll own 5%. Plus, what else I'll control? They'll suddenly wonder where his company went.
I'm Duckett. I enjoy the Financial Times. It's fun reading about other people's crimes. My company, Albion's Price, is looking perky. I think I'll buy that villa in the South Turkey.
So what's on the agenda today? Let's get on with the rubbish out the way.
We're failing to acquire Mayfield.
Except I never fail. Why don't I suggest we'll leave them alone, provided they pay us green mail. American term, greenbacks, blackmail. Everybody happy?
If they really want to defend themselves, they'll do a leveraged management buyout to get back their shares.
So we make 100 million.
And the busy company's still theirs. And the
Plus
last
a
company's
whole lot of debt. In the U.S., there's an oil company borrowed $4 billion to find off T-Bone Pickens, and now they're paying $3 million a day interest.
So that money goes to improving our position with Albion, my favorite acquisition. How we doing?
The Albion share is up to 315, and you now own 4.9%, not 5%, so no need to disclose.
Excellent. So now?
Now we contact institutions, the pension fund managers who hold millions of CORMAN shares, and indicate it would be wise to lend us their support.
Can we rely on them?
They won't say no, for otherwise a succulent new issue next time we have one might not come their way.
It's their duty to keep our price up after all. The poor old pensioners won't want it to fall.
We also intimate it's in their interest to buy up Albion so that more and more Albion shares belong to friends of ours, a fan club and not a concert party.
A concert party.
Come on, don't fart about it's a concert party.
A fan club of disinterested supporters is respectable and legal. A concert party of people you've induced to support you, reprehensible. This is a line you may trust us to tread as long as necessary.
Tread in the shit. Tread on where you need to tread. Now, purchases must also be made by Metgi, Upgate, Battershot, Mountain Ring,
and Stoneark.
5 nominee companies registered in the Turks and Caicos Islands, Panama and Sark. They can each acquire 4.9%.
And one of our problems is solved. You'll acquire a huge share in Albion without anyone suspecting you're involved.
We're still left with a cash flow problem. Albion's more than 3 times as big as Corman.
Zach, you understand how bio works. Time you stepped in and showed us a few fireworks.
The last couple of years of the United States, it's been takeover mania. And I guess the deals there have gotten some zanier. Junk bonds are a quick way of raising cash, but it's kind of a hit and run method, which doesn't go down too well in Britain. You don't have millions of private investors crazy to gamble on debt.
No, you wouldn't succeed with junk bonds here just yet. But the British public's financial education is going in leaps and bounds with privatization. Said we'll buy junk soon. Just wait.
Great.
So no junk. How do we stand with the loan? Can you show us some tricks?
The money can be supplied from a number of banks here and in the United States led by our own. I've got the rate of interest down a couple of ticks. In return, they want us to borrow Upcake, Battershot, and Stoneark and form 5 new nominee companies so we can wind up Albion and redistribute its assets, which gives us tax-neutral benefits. We repay the loans and the interest by selling off certain sections of Albion after it's acquired.
Some people might think I'm a touch overgeared. Our ratio of debt to equity is
400%.
Taking into account the $1.5 billion you've lent, but being in debt is the best way to be rich.
America's national debt is over $1 trillion.
So we've got the money to get out there and spend it. We've got Albion.
No, let's wait and see how Duckett's going to defend. Poison pills? Sharp repellent?
If Albion shares should fall, some of our friends would be in for a shock.
And deposit with us could provide a guarantee.
And then there's the question of buying Corman stock. To buy your own shares is illegal and cannot be.
But the banks can buy them. No problem. And we'll let you know later about our fee.
ZACKERMAN, my very sincere thanks. This is the kind of service I expect from our banks. ETHERINGTON, I'm sure you've got plenty to do. I'll join you later for a glass of poo. We don't breathe a word of this to anyone, but someone could breathe a word to MARYLOU. I think she could step in here and have some fun, but I don't want to direct contact, and nor should you.
No problem. So I called Jake Todd.
What'd you think of the family?
Quite a mansion.
You could buy yourself something equally handsome. Or 3.
Why do the British always want land? In Paris or New York, you live in an apartment. Why do the English need gardens?
You're not upper class without it. You're too American to understand.
You don't make money out of land. You make money out of money.
It's a dream. Woods, springtime, owning the spring. What's so funny?
Is that your dream?
I never dream. I never sleep.
Because it comes to an end. Young kids like you making money now, and I mean the ones who have never had it not like you, they're going to come up with new ways to spend because they're going to come up with new dreams.
I'll tell you, Zach, sometimes it seems...
What?
I don't know. What were we saying?
When?
Forget it.
Tell you something, Jake. Give Albion some attention.
I could get on the blower to MARYLOU and just give it a mention.
Don't tell me.
Tell you something. I fancy the ocean. Instead of land, I'd like to own a big cube of sea, right down to the bottom, all the fish, weeds, the lot. There'd be takers for that.
Sure, Sure, it's a great notion.
Or air, space, a square meter going straight up into infinity.
And a section of God at the top.
Oh yes, I'll make you a market in divinity any day.
There's a message from Jake Todd in London. He recommends buying shares in Albion.
Can I take it this is so far completely secret?
Oh, yes. When it comes out, it'll really move the market.
Are you trading in this stock on your own account?
Not for a very considerable amount.
You'll be setting up your own show.
No, Miss Baines, I wouldn't go. You taught me everything I know. I really admire your style, Miss Baines. You're a great American.
Sure. Arbitrage is a service to the community. It's too bad they're prosecuting people you'd have thought would have had immunity. By buying and selling large amounts of stock, we ensure the market's liquidity. I work 24 hours a day and take pills for stomach acidity. So companies can be taken over easy, which means discharging superfluous workers, discontinuing unprofitable lines, the kind of stuff that makes your lazy, inefficient management queasy. So considering the good we do for the US economy, I reckon we should be treated with a little more respect and bonhomie. I have 150 telephone lines because I depend on information.
What's the least a person could start with?
I started small, say 20. You need to know what's going on in business all over the nation.
And Britain.
You take a lot of gambles, which keeps the adrenaline flowing, and is why it's known as risk arbitrage.
Ha, Miss Baines, I admire your guts.
Though, if you know how to get the right information, the risk isn't all that large.
But since Boski was caught out...
Sure, some of our informants are more cautious, but information is what it's all about. So I reckon it's business as usual, and only now and then does nervousness make me nauseous. You and I both know what it's like to have other guys stepping on your head, and you can't get on when you're dead.
So you think it's worth me giving it a shot?
Get out, TK, and give it all you've got. After all, what happens if you fail?
I end up broke and in jail.
Look, with his own collapse, Boski did the biggest insider deal of all. The SEC let him unload over $1 billion worth of shares ahead of announcing his fall. So paying a $100 million fine was pretty minimal, which is great because he overstepped some regulations, sure, but the guy's no criminal. Like he said about his own amazing wealth, greed is all right. Greed is healthy. You can be greedy and still feel good about yourself. Buy 20 million shares in Albion today. That's in addition to what you've bought. In a few weeks, when CORMAN announces the bid and the price shoots up, we'll sell quick, take the profit, and on our way.
BIDDULPH, I'm desperate. Damn it. BIDDULPH, I'm desperate. CORMAN's going to take over Albion. Shall I pay him greenmail and take on $500,000 debt? Shall I do one of those American things, poison pills, shark repellent? Make some arrangements so the company comes to bits if he gets hold of it? Shall I cash in my Eurobond and emigrate?
Now, Duckett, you're under quite serious attack. It's time to fight back.
I'd like to fight back.
I know you'd give Coleman a terrible fright if you had a white knight.
Oh, I'd like a white knight.
Now, Coleman will throw up the top management. Now, Coleman will throw the top management out, but I guarantee that your job would remain.
Say it again?
Your job would remain, but Coleman would throw the top management out. That's what it's about.
That's what it's about? But you guarantee my job would remain?
So, if I should step in, would I have your support?
Would you have my support?
That's just what I thought.
It's very unfair to be attacked like this. I run a highly efficient company. I've sacked the finance director and the chief of marketing, who've both been with the company 10 years. I've closed 2 factories and made 500 people redundant. No one can say I'm not a hard-hitting management.
Hold on, Duckett. You've got it all wrong. This is from the PR angle. You're an old-fashioned firm, A good old English firm that has the loyalty of its employees and the support of the local community. You spend a lot of money on research and development.
I spend some, I suppose, but I've always considered the shareholders' dividend and the short term.
No, no, no. You consider the long term. You're the kind of company the CBI likes. CORMAN means short-term profit. You mean industrial development. Think of a Pilkington, Duckett. You're loved locally. Children like you. Dogs.
What I dream of, you know, is cornering the coffee market. Brazil needs to be hammered into the ground and prices kept right down low and just...
No, no, Duckett, not at the moment. You're a sweet English maiden, all shining and bright, and CORMAN's the villain intent upon rape, and I'm the White Knight.
You're the White Knight.
And the knight has a fight, and the maiden escapes, and when I'm in charge, I'll put everything right. We can talk about closing Scunthorpe later.
Jake couldn't have picked a worse time to die if he hated my guts. CORMAN hadn't slept for 48 hours and was driving himself and everyone else nuts. Jake was my one real friend over here. It's not that I don't care, but the deal could get clinched today and I just don't have the attention to spare. If he puts me in that shit with a DTI, I'll worry about that later.
Right. You all know the position. BIDDULPH stepped in as a whole White Knight to stop us making the acquisition. Don't worry, she hasn't a chance. It's just a try-on. We've got 15% of Albion stocks plus 20% fan club holdings whose votes we can rely on. 2 aims. 1, boost our own share price by getting anyone at all to buy up CORMAN stock to increase value of our offer. 2, get anyone who at all who vote us to buy up Albion shares. So in a word, get anyone you can by any means you can to buy both our stocks and theirs. From today, we're coming to the crunch. Nobody's going out anymore for lunch. You can cancel dinner too. From today, we're going for the gold. Put your family life and your sex life on hold. A deal like this at the start, you gently woo it. There comes a time when you get in there and screw it. So you get the stock, and I don't care how you do it.
My reputation for integrity compels me to suggest you should take care. No point succeeding if that same success destroys you and your company forever. Remember Guinness.
Thank you, Etherton. Some of us have work to do here.
No question there are thin lines, and there's definitely a gray area. And since Guinness, it's a whole lot scarier. You can't play ball if you keep off the grass. So promise whatever you have to do, pedal your ass. Let's give it all we've got and worry later.
Are you standing there as some kind of arbitrator? You could piss off. I'll get another broker. The last thing I need in my pack is some tight-ass joker. I think you were good at this. I thought you were good at this.
My duty has been done in speaking out, and now I'll help in every way I can. My reputation for integrity will reassure our colleagues of their safety in making any purchase we advise.
Then let's get on with it.
Let's get on with it, guys.
Now, if you are interested in acquiring some CORMAN stock, there is a considerable sum on deposit with declined Merrick. So in every event of the subsequent fall in the share price, you would be guaranteed against a loss $20,000.
If you were interested in buying some Albion stock, there would be no question of being unable to dispose of them at a price at least equal to what you gave, 100,000.
If you're able to see your way to supporting the bid, the new Albion under CORMAN's management would naturally look favorable at any tenders for office cleaning that compared favorable with our present arrangements.
If you should be interested in following our recommendations
to acquire Corman stock, an interest-free loan could be arranged at once with which the purchase could be made, and we could finance.
Remember me to Vanessa and the boys. Listen, Corman, this may just be a rumor, but if it's true, it doesn't appeal to my sense of humor. I just had a word with a colleague in Atlanta in Gulf. MARYLOU's been dealing with BIDDULPH. I think it's time you spoke to her yourself.
Dealing with BIDDULPH? I just sent her some flowers. What the fuck does she think? She meant to be one of ours. I tried to call her this morning, but I got the machine. Leave a message after the tone, I'll leave something obscene. MARYLOU, you got the flowers. A tragic bereavement.
Yes, TK made a real pretty arrangement.
And your pretty arrangement still okay?
I did dispose of a large holding today.
You what? Disposed? A large Albion holding? I gave you that clear understanding.
No, Corman, don't pursue it. Anything I do, I just happen to do because I want to do it.
You owe me, MARYLOU.
I owe you? I'm not even certain that I know you.
How much Albion did you have?
15%.
Can I just ask you where the hell it went?
Don't be slow, Bill. That's quite upsetting. I like to think I'm dealing with an equal.
MARYLOU, it's not that I'm not smart. It's just hard to believe that you'd break my heart. BIDDULPH? BIDDULPH? What? You knew you were getting information from me via ZACKERMAN, via Jake Todd.
You can't predict the sequel.
But you knew Jake Todd was one of mine.
You are slow, Bill.
Because he's dead? You didn't want to be connected. With Jake, now he's dead in case someone suspected? So that's why you sold to BIDDULPH.
I hope these phones are adequately scrambled.
I don't give a fuck who else is on the line. You cheated me, I ate you. I fucking annihilate you.
Corman, you'll get rumbled if you don't keep your temper. Be glad you're alive, as my very irritating old auntie used to say. Don't worry about it. What's 15%? Get after the other 85.
We need her.
Kissogram for Mr. Corman.
MARYLOU, you know how it is. You say things in haste. Our friendship's far too important to waste.
What do you want, Bill?
Can you see your way of going back into Albion? Will you buy Corman and support our price? Smashing BIDDULPH will be very nice. If you've anything...
Bill, I'd be glad to do something for you, but...
I understand your problem. How can I reassure you?
I'm playing with about $1 billion, but most of that's occupied over here. If I had another 100 million in my investment fund, then I guess I'd have a freer hand.
I think I could probably see my way clear. This is hardly the moment with so much else on our minds. But I've been meaning for some time to approach you with a view to becoming a contributor to your investment fund, because I have, of course, the great admiration for your wide experience and market timing.
I could have my people send you some documentation.
Happy takeover day. Take Albion away. Happy takeover Corman. Happy takeover day.
What the hell?
Kissogram from MARYLOU BAINES.
From MARYLOU BAINES? I'll kill her.
I'm not really. I'm Jake Todd's sister, SCILLA.
What? Is this a terrorist attack?
I heard you. Jake Todd was one of mine. Tell me what it's all about. Did someone kill Jake?
Will someone please get this lunatic out?
Hold it, hold it. Everything's fine. I know her. It's okay. She's not insane. She won't be armed. Don't press. The security button will be held up for hours with water sprinklers and the SAS. Let's get on with the job here.
You killed my brother.
That...
He didn't. He really didn't. I'm certain he didn't. Do you work for MARYLOU BAINES? Because you can tell her from me.
No, that was a trick to get in. Now, will you explain?
Don't work for her.
What one of mine means? One of your what? He did something illegal. You were frightened of what he'd say to the DTI, and you wanted him out of the way. Tell me what's going on, or I'll tell the press my brother was acting for you and the night he got shot. Did you kill him yourself or get your broker to pull the trigger?
After the deal, I'll confess to murdering anyone. Just let me get on with the deal.
You and Zach got Jake into some mess. He did little fiddles, but this must have been much bigger. You and Zach got him involved in some corrupt ring.
Suppose I had killed Jake. His ghost would have had more sense than walking here today and interrupt.
Can you spare me a few minutes?
He got on because he knew what was a priority, and he would have reckoned.
He got on. Doing what exactly?
That matters of life and death came a poor second.
Can you spare me 5 minutes?
No, not for 2. Go on.
I'm not leaving until you...
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
You will?
You'll what?
Can I handle this? Can I just handle this, please?
So, tell me.
MARYLOU BAINES will make it quick, okay? Needs inside information, and she's willing to pay.
You knew all this morning and you didn't say?
So anyone in London with news will give it to Jake, and he'd get 0.5% or whatever she'd make.
0.5%. That meant...
If she made 50 million.
He got 250,000. If she made 200 million, he never told me.
I think little Jakey could have bought and sold me. So now you know, okay? And now you drop it.
What do you mean? I'm just getting started.
I've got work to do.
Who killed him? Corman, you?
I'm too tender-hearted, and Corman's too busy. SCILLA, stop it. We have to keep this quiet now. Face the facts. You're never going to find out all Jake's contacts. Let it go. I've got work to do. Don't get in a state.
You knew all along. You never told me. Wait.
He was making serious money. So Jack went back to Corman, and I thought I'd better go to work despite Jack's being dead, because Chicago comes at 1:20 and I haste to miss it. I work on the floor of LIFT, the London International Financial Fixture Exchange. Trading options and futures looks tricky if you don't understand it. But if you're good at market timing, you can make out like a bandit. It's the most fun I've had since playing cops and robbers with Jake when we were children.
It's my life.
A simple way of looking at futures is take a commodity. Coffee, cocoa, sugar, zinc, pork bellies, copper, aluminum, oil. I always think pork bellies is an oddity. They think just as well have a future in chicken wings. Suppose you're a coffee trader and there's a drought in Brazil like last year, or suppose there's a good harvest. Either way, you might lose out. So you can buy future contract that works in the opposite direction, so you're covered against loss. And that's what futures are basically about. But of course, you don't have to take delivery of anything at all. You can buy and sell future contracts without any danger of ending up with 10 tons of pork bellies in the hall. On the floor of the lift, the commodity is money. You can buy and sell money. You can buy and sell absence of money, debt, which used to strike me as funny. For some, it's hedging. For most, it's speculation. In New York, they just introduced a future contract in inflation. Pity it's not Bolivian inflation, which hit 40,000%. I was terrified when I started because there aren't many girls and they line up to watch you walk. And every time I opened my mouth, I felt self-conscious because the way I talk. I found O levels weren't much use. The best qualified people are street traders. But I love it because it's like playing cross between roulette and Space Invaders.
I said, I'm not going to work down there. It's like animals in a zoo. So then I thought, I'll have a bash.
Take Kathy. Linda.
I'm SCILLA
Joanne.
too.
Oh, okay.
When you start, they really care. Don't let them see you care.
I'll never learn what to do. I'll never learn hand signals.
I couldn't walk across the floor my first day. This morning's really a bore. There's nothing happening.
I answered a telephone for the first time.
You really feel on your own. Never say hold on because they don't hold on.
Emily can take Kathy. Emily, take Kathy.
Okay. I can manage 2 phones at once, but not 3.
Sometimes I've put the phone down because I don't know what they're saying.
You do get used to the noise. I nearly fainted the first day.
I can deal without shouting. Most of them like shouting.
Men are just little boys. David lost 20 slips at the end of yesterday, and Muggins finds them for him.
Terry asked me out this morning. He was the first person who spoke to me on my first day. He was really friendly. Is it all right going out? Do they talk about you?
You do get talked about. I hear so and so's knocking off and so.
Just go out for lunch. Nothing can happen after.
They're a very chauvinistic bunch.
We've all been out with Terry.
Anyway, they're all too knackered by the end of the day.
It's true. They're all frustrated, but they never have time to do it.
I'm completely exhausted. At midnight, I'm washing my knickers because I'm too speedy to sleep.
I get up at 5:30 and have a good breakfast.
Mind you, I like Terry. Kathy?
Hello, Terry.
What about Saturday?
I don't know.
Think about it.
Better be getting back.
Time we
Anybody?
did some work. Nearly time for Chicago.
Coming out with me tonight?
Leave it out, Vince.
Leave the lady alone.
Coming out with me tonight?
Leave it out, Vince.
You're in late.
Trouble at home. My brother's been shot.
You what?
There's going to be a scandal.
Another one. Did you say your brother?
Bigger.
Is it worth trading on?
There might be a run on Sterling if you're lucky.
Here he comes, the Canardleys.
Any boy, please.
Fuck off, sweaty git.
Fuck off, dog breath.
Yeah, lovely. I feel better when I get rid of these oysters.
Dave! Dave!
And how are you this morning?
Don't talk to me. I'm all fucked up.
Do you call him Dick because he's got spots?
No, I call him Spot because he's a dick. Annie, if you sell the front and buy the back, you'll be short out front and long out back.
Muff City, no pity.
Dave! Grimes says Zach's got a 10 million rollover for March to sell 10 at 9. If you can't get it, he'll go to 8. And 15 June at your best price.
Are you Annie? Can you find this guy and give him a message?
Mike who?
Hunt.
I'm tired of making money for other people. I'd like to be a local.
Oi, Dave! You can't signal with a pencil in your hand. What?
Just fucking haven't I?
The theoretical spread is too large.
Did you see that actor from the bill who was in here yesterday?
I saw him first.
I saw him first.
I wonder if he'll come back.
I wonder if he's married. What do you want this morning?
She wants 18 at 15.
All I want is a bacon roll.
All I want is a bacon roll.
Meanwhile,
Red June is showing 4 bid for 5. Sterling showing 5 at 3. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's all right. March showing 9.
5 at 9. 5 at 9. Is that another 5 or the same 5? 5 more at 9. 5 more. 10 at 9. 10 at 9.
5 at 9 filled.
Your first 5 at 9 filled.
We want 20 out of footsie and into the gilts. Sell at 20 at 1. 20 at 1. Bid 9 for 20. 9 for 20.
20 at 1.
9 for 20.
March
Gilt
rising
rising fast. Do you want to sell now or wait? They might go another 2 ticks if you're lucky. 5 at 9. 5 at 9.
Where are we going tonight?
The old Chinese.
Dragon City, no pity.
I'll tell Vince.
Okay, we're 8 for 15. 18 for 15.
18 for 15, working 20.
Table for 15, please.
10 at 19. 10 at 19. John, just 5 at 19. You can't trust John's bids.
He's had too many beers.
I've got a certain winner for the 330 if anybody's interested.
You haven't paid us on yesterday's winnings yet.
Leave it out, Brian. I always pay you.
Come on. Gilts. 2 at 4, the gilts.
Sterling showing 5 at 3. Euro 4 bid now.
Dave, you're supposed to be looking at me, right?
Am I in or am I out?
You gotta listen. If you don't listen, we can't get in touch with you.
What?
If you look at me, I won't give you stick.
10 bid for 70. Let's get some stock away. Where the fuck have you been?
Oh, I see. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Please.
Oh, I see. You're not allowed to crap.
Tony rings, tell him I can't get out.
I'm long on footsie.
Don't know why I bothered coming in today. Really flying. It's really going somewhere.
Find out if Brian bought 20 off Dave at 6.
Did you buy 20 off Dave at 6?
Going to Greenhouse tonight.
5 at 9. Have you got that second 5 at 9 filled?
Have you got that second 9 at 5 at 9 filled?
Leave me alone. I'm talking to the young lady.
Young lady.
I'm looking for Mike Hunt.
Ah!
He's looking for her cunt.
Don't worry. They do it to everyone when they're new. Out, out, out. John, phone for you.
My car keeps getting stolen. Don't leave it outside your house. Then they
won't know it's yours.
Terry, it's a doodle, 4-hour drive at most.
It's 405. It's 500 miles.
I'm not doing that on a Sunday.
Check your oil. Check your oil the night before and leave at 5.
What's he doing living in a castle? He's a fucking iron.
Iron.
Ironed off.
Iron, oof. Chicago, 2 minutes. Footsie's gonna move.
No, he showed me a picture of his girlfriend once with a carrot in her mouth right up to the green bit. Dead city, no pity. Dave, the horse, it won. Dave and John embrace and jump up and down. Dave says,
I fucking won 2,000 pounds.
Chicago.
6 for 10. 6 for 10.
10 for 6. 10 at 6.
I'm buying at 6, you cunt.
11 coming 10. 11 coming 10. 11 10. 11 10. 10 10 10 10 10 coming 9. 10 coming 9, etc.
Where's your fucking game?
Oh, fuck off.
I'm fucking break your leg, you fucking cunt.
You'll have to shout louder if you can't signal better.
You're trading like a cunt.
Oh God, now we have to sing.
Jesus, only Act 2. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You want to pass the song up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that'd be a highlight.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Harley,
The
you
highlight
want
of
it?
my life.
No.
Act 2, Jacinta Condor flying first class. Please tell me we have a Jacinta.
We do.
We
Yay!
certainly do.
Go.
Flight to England, that little gray island in the clouds where governments don't fall overnight and children don't sell themselves in the street, and my money is safe. I'll buy a raincoat. I'll meet Jake Todd. I'll stay at the Savoy by the stream they call a river with its bloody tower and dead queens. A river too wide to be a bridge, a river too wide to bridge. The unfinished bridge across the canyon where the road ends in the air, waiting for dollars. The office blocks father started, imagining glass, leather, green screens, the city rising high into the sky, but the tower stopped short. Cement, wires, the city spreading wider instead, with a blur of shacks, miners coming down from the mountains and the mines close. The International Tin Council, what a scandal. Thank God I wasn't in tin. The price of copper ruined by the frozen exchange rate, the two rates, and the government will not let us mining companies exchange enough dollars at the better rate. They insist we help the country in this crisis. I do not want to help. I want to be rich. I close my mines and sell my copper on the London Metal Exchange. It is all because of the debt that will never be paid, because we have to borrow more and more to pay the interest on the money that came from oil when OPEC had too much money, and your Western banks wanted to lend it to us because who else would pay such high interest, needing it so badly? Father got his hands on enough of it, but what happened, massive inflation, lucky he put the money somewhere safe. The Swiss mountains, so white from the air like our mountains, but the people rich with cattle and clocks and secrets. The American plains, yellow with wheat, the green English fields, white lords still live in gray stone, all with such safe banks and good bonds and excited gambles. So as soon as any dollars or pounds come, don't let them go into our mines or our coffee or look for a sea of oil under the jungle. No, get it out quickly to the Western banks, a little money and cocaine, that's different. Peru leads the way, resisting the IMF, refusing to pay the interest, but I don't want to make things difficult for the banks. I prefer to support them. Why should my money stay in Peru and suffer? The official closing price yesterday for a grade A copper was $878.85. 3 months, 900.51. Final curb close, 901.2. Why bother to send aid so many miles? Put it straight into my Euro bonds.
Meanwhile, the London Metal Exchange starts quietly trading copper. When Jacinta finishes speaking, the trading reaches its noisy climax.
There's some enterprising guys around, and here's an example. You know how if you want to get in the job in the States, you have to give a urine sample? This is to show you're not on drugs. There's a company now for a $50 fee. They'll provide you with a guaranteed pure, donated by a churchgoer bottle of pee. They also plan to market it dehydrated in a packet, and you just add water. And AIDS is making advertisers perplexed because it's no longer too good to have a product associated with sex. But it's a great marketing opportunity. Like the guys opening up blood banks where you pay to store your own blood in case of accident, and so you be guaranteed immunity. It's also a great time to buy in rubber. Anyone who could buy oranges for 10 and sell at 11 is a soak or bazaar, has the same human nature and can go equally far. The so-called third world doesn't want our charity or aid. All they need is a chance to sit down in front of some green screens and trade. They don't have the money, sure, but just so long as they have freedom from communism, so they can do it when they do have the money. Pictures of starving babies are misleading and patronizing because there's plenty of rich people in those countries. It's just the masses that's poor. And Jacinta CONDOR flew into London and was quite enterprising. It was the day before Jake Todd was found dead, and the deal was really coming to a head. Jake was helping us find punters because anybody with too much money, and Jake would know them. You just say, Jake, who's in town? What have they got? And they'd bring them in and show them.
Ah, Senora CONDOR has plenty of cash in her coffer. She owns mountains and her garden's twice the size of Wales. What's CORMAN going to offer?
He hopes she'll be able to help support his price.
She's going to need some kind of incentive.
I think she'll find CORMAN quite inventive.
Zach, while we're alone, I didn't want to say this on the phone. I had a visit from a DTI inspector.
Have you done something not quite correct, or what?
Zach, it's no joke. They didn't say too much. But once they...
Did they mention me?
I can't say I don't know. You? That doesn't tell them anything, knowing you.
Great. Sure. No, of course not.
Don't let's pay too much attention to it, okay? If you like, I'll go.
It could be quite a smash, not just for you.
I have been making quite a lot of cash. When they take your passport, you feel surprisingly trapped. I didn't know I was so fond of travel.
You're the kind of loose thread, Jake, that when they pull you, the whole fucking city could unravel.
Shall we cancel CONDOR in case it makes things worse?
Just don't give them the whole thing gift wrap.
I can walk out the door now.
Okay.
I feel... What shall I do?
Jake, I'm not your nurse.
Tell me to walk and I'll walk.
And fuck up the deal?
There might be a bug on the light.
Jake, what the hell? There might be a microphone under your lapel. The city's greed or fear, you've got to choose.
Greed's been good to me. Fear's a bitch.
Then be greedy, guy, and let this payroll home without a hitch.
I can always hit the straight and narrow tomorrow. This is ZACKERMAN you've heard so much about, the guy who always knows the latest shout.
How are you enjoying your stay in London, Senor CONDOR?
You're muted.
I have been for a walk in your little Saints Park where the pelicans eat the pigeons, but I didn't see it. I have been to the opera, very nice. I have sold all my copper for a rather small number of millions.
This is no time to sell copper. The price is lousy.
And when's it ever in season? She's selling copper. She's got to have a reason.
I lose every quarter. The cash goes like water. It's nothing to close the mine. I choose very well the moment to sell. I benefit from the closures in Suriname because of guerrilla activity. I also leak the news I am closing my mines, which puts the price up a little, so it's fine.
So you've wiped out your mines? That's telling them who's master. You must feel like a natural disaster.
Hurricane Jacinta.
If I keep them, Jake, I have to be deranged. The Minister of Energy says mining is not dead. It brings 45% of foreign exchange. But a pound of copper won't buy a loaf of bread. Our mining companies lost $100 million last year. Is the fault of IMF. I don't like to suffer.
The Dagos always like to blame the gringos. I suppose the miners want a revolution. The most amazing lake full of flamingos. I think that was Peru.
How can I support 10,000 people when I did? They weren't even grateful. The miners all strike. What do they like? They want they want subsidized food. I say, get on your bike.
I didn't know they had bikes. I thought they had llamas and woolly hats and trousers like pajamas.
So are the miners bothering you?
You come and protect me? It's really a pity. They go to the city where there's no work, or they sit down outside the mine. Growing coca is nice, a very good price. 10 to 30 times as much as tea or coffee or cocoa. So I think that's going to be fine.
Great product to grow. Peru with its mountains covered in snow. You're not giving up all your Peruvian interests.
Europe is more interesting. Mr. Corman is fascinating. Jake, I have asked a friend to this meeting.
I'm not sure
You've heard of NIGEL ABJIBALA?
I can't say I have.
Listen, don't cross the senora.
I tell you, I've caught a big cocoa importer. Your deal goes without a hitch. His school was at Eton, where children are beaten. He's a prince and exceedingly rich.
Any friend of Jacinta will be a good punter.
So where does he operate?
He has connections in Ghana and Zambia, Zaire and Gambia, but it's here he likes to invest. His enemies are jealous because he's so zealous and makes so much money. And at home, he faces arrest, like the man they tried to kidnap in the trunk.
You see, I told you, it's great.
Here he comes now. Be cunning.
I suppose Corman can always meet him. Nigel ABJIBALA arrives.
My friend, Jake Todd, and Mr. ZACKERMAN, a very considerable American.
You spend much time in Zambia and Zaire?
Yes, but it's mostly based over here. Africa induces mild hysteria. Terrible situation in Nigeria, oil earnings down. Yeah, just a moment, I can't see what I'm doing. Oil earnings down for $25 billion to 5 this year, and they're so refusing to make their interest payments. And Zaire pays the West $190 million more than it receives each year. So, as the last of several last resorts, it's cutting its payments to 10% of exports.
So the IMF will turn a deaf ear.
They'll just cut off their payments to Zambia.
The IMF is not a charity. It has to insist on absolute austerity.
Absolutely. It can't be namby-pamby. These countries must accept restricted diets. The governments must explain, if there are food riots, that paying the Western banks is the priority.
Bob Geldof was a silly cunt. He did his charity back to front. They should have had the concerts in Zaire and shipped the money to banks over here.
So you're better off out of Africa, I guess.
Well, the continent is such a frightful mess. One's based in London, so one's operation is on the right side of exploitation. One thing one learned from one's colonial masters: one makes money from other people's disasters.
Senor Condor tells me you might be interested in Corman Enterprise.
You can completely pull out of Peru.
Don't worry, Jake. I don't pull out on you. I give up all my interests except in cocaine. And I keep the houses, of course, and the aeroplane. My country is beautiful, Jake. What white mountains, jungle greenery. My people will starve among the scenery. Let them rot. I'm sick of it.
So what's the story?
The airstrips rebuilt. The government feels guilt, so it's always trying to bomb it. Also, they try to destroy my processing plants, which is deceitful because they dare not confront the peasants to stop them growing it. And they don't really want to destroy all the plants. They are making billions from it, more than all the rest of our exports, to keep Reagan our friend. We have to pretend, but the US pretends we know it. Who likes a Coke buzz? America does. They stop using it, we won't grow it.
So when can we see some action? Let's get going.
I have to get a little cash flowing. Maybe Mr. Corman.
I'm curious to see Corman. We've never met. I'm just a secret compartment in his desk. He's very bright, so be on your best behavior. He's obsessed with the bid, and he'll look on you as a savior. You can push him quite hard. He likes a risk. So have you decided what to ask for yet?
If I buy or sell, I always do well. So don't worry about it, my pet. Whatever I get, I look after you. And Mr. Corman will too, I expect. Don't be embarrassed, Jake. You're young and greedy. I like to see it.
I was at Eton myself. This is rather a different ball game.
Oh, not at all. Did you ever play the wall game?
It would be great to see you while you're over here.
Maybe we should drink some English beer. I have a meeting at 8. I won't go on late. Maybe at 9:30?
No, I don't think. I'll be stuck with Corman. I can't get out for a drink. 11's probably fine.
I'm having a late supper with terribly upper class people who buy my plantation.
And after that?
Unfortunately, they live in Edinburgh.
How are you getting there?
By helicopter.
I'm beginning to run out of inspiration.
Breakfast.
Would be great, except I have breakfast with Corman till this deal goes through. I suppose I might get away for a minute or two.
That would be heaven.
Maybe 11?
11, I see my lawyer. At 12,
No, please.
I see some Japanese, just briefly in the hotel foyer. So we meet for lunch?
I have to be in Paris for lunch. I'll be back by 4.
That's good.
But I have to go straight to Corman.
What a bore.
Maybe we could.
Tomorrow, dinner. Much to my sorrow, I have with some Eurobond dealers.
Cancel it.
Business.
Shit.
Afterward?
Bliss. No, hang on a minute. I have a guest, a major investor. I have to put out some feelers. The only time he can meet me is after a show. I guess I might be through by 1 a.m.
Zach, I could cry. There's a nightclub I buy, and really I must talk to them. So maybe next morning you give me a ring?
Maybe I can get out of breakfast with Corman. I'll call you first thing.
Which day?
Tomorrow.
If you fancy a wolfhound, I'll let you have a pup.
If I'm down in Wiltshire, I'll certainly look you up.
That went well. They can't possibly tell you live in one room in a rundown hotel. I'll buy you a silk shirt in Jermyn Street.
You've not met Corman before. Had you better split? There may be a good time to meet him, but is this it? If you've actually spoken, it gets us in more deep.
What the hell, Zach? Hang for a sheep.
Oh, cup of coffee, someone. I'm going mental. So we get these people involved in distribution or supply, whatever, and they make a contribution?
Their involvement should look kind of coincidental.
Look what? Zach, don't you start talking sin. It'll look terrific. Show the buggers in.
Senor Condor, Mr. ABJIBALA.
And this must be the infamous Jake Todd. I begin to think you are a bit like God. You make things happen, but you don't exist. ETHERINGTON, don't look as if you smell something burning. This is Jake Todd, our invisible earning.
How do you do, Mr. Todd? Extremely glad.
You're really so looked up to by my dad.
Okay, so let's skip the introductions. How do you do? Let's get on with the ructions. What's the idea?
Albion seems an excellent investment, especially under our expert control. I assure you that the stag is not my role. I'm talking about a long-term commitment.
So you'd have the company's interests at heart?
I'd certainly be glad to play my part. I imagine why anyone bothers with water. I can't imagine why anyone bothers with water when Albion produces so much delicious drinks. Orange, coffee, chocolate with cream.
I think this product stinks. Cocoa? You're a cocoa importer? I know fuck all about cocoa bean. Buy the company first and run it later.
The London market suits the speculator. And you really have to know your way around, and excellent bargains can be made.
You've wide experience, have you, in the trade?
The only job I haven't done is peasant. Who grows the stuff which wouldn't be so pleasant?
So, what's the story with cocoa? Anyone know? Are Albion having to pay through the nose?
There's mistrust between the countries where it grows and countries like this where we consume. Cocoa is a very far from having a boom. A new agreement must be implemented, just has been implemented.
I'll have a lot of wrangling about the buffer stock.
This has been driven the price up a little, but it's well below the price at which buffer stock buying is permitted, and 18% down on a year ago. We consumers are holding the price low.
So how can you give me a better price than your rivals?
Because options and futures are more important than physicals. Today's markets, following an unchanged opening, figures rallied 15 pounds during the afternoon before the trade profit taking paired the gains of the closing call. With producers withdrawn physical interest was restricted to forward consumer offtake.
He buys a forward contract, sells it later, and every time he's making money off it.
And you get the benefits of the profit.
It's thrilling to watch a skillful operator.
And funny business with import licenses, Mr. ABJIBALA? Don't answer that. Right, Zach, let's put cocoa on the back burner. It looks as if there's a nice little earner. And you, Senora, are you full of beans? I suppose you want to sell me some caffeine.
Coffee's no joke. It makes me go broke. No, my interest is distribution.
I spent a good weekend once in Caracas. You don't by any chance play the maracas?
I'm here to do business, Mr. Corman. I wish to obtain an exclusive franchise.
Senoritas in Brazil have beautiful eyes.
Cut it out, Corman.
Mr. Corman, you appreciate my country's spirit. I appreciate your company's products, and I wish to sell it in Peru, Brazil, Argentina, Venezuela, and Chile.
This could very probably be arranged.
ZACKERMAN, I hope you haven't changed.
The proposal has considerable merit.
You wouldn't be suggesting something silly. Can't tell me anything good the present distributors did?
No, they've shown no interest at all in your bid.
That's too bad. I think we may be in business, Senora.
If you want to set up debt for equity swap, you have Albion plants in Peru. It's a way that we get to sell more of our debt.
I ask you, what else can we do better than selling copper?
Zach, do I want to invest in South America?
South American companies will swap their debt for dollars you invest in their country, which means you get, say, $100 million of equity paid by the government in local currency. And you've only got to hand over 70. It gives you a great advantage over the locals.
Also, you could help to build my hospitals. I have one for sick and hungry men and women, one for poor and drug-addicted children. I visit and hold the hands of poor people.
Oh, this is all extremely admirable. Don't you think so, Etherton? If you'll excuse us. Is this wise? Hospitals? She's simply trying to use us. Every penny would go into her pocket. Everything she looks at, she wants to lock it. You can't help admiring the way she tries. Etherton?
I'm afraid I can't advise. Questions of supply and distribution for Albion after you make the acquisition are matters of internal management. So naturally, I haven't liked to listen. I really don't feel qualified to comment.
Do you want the money for the deal or not? Zach?
Swapping debt might come in handy later. I agree the hospitals are just a scam.
Hospitals? What does she think I am?
So we buy his cocoa, give her the franchise, and get out the calculator.
They've got serious money.
Jake recommends them.
That boy's got very interesting friends. Let's keep them sweet. I'll be delighted to make a small contribution to your hospital, Senora. The distribution. Franchise would of course, be contingent on my acquiring Albion.
I know the arrangement. If you get it, I get it. I help you get it.
And Mr. Abjibala, I'm most impressed. Miss Albion's sole supplier of cocoa.
I would feel it my duty to acquire an interest in the company.
I think a change of supplier is probably indicated. Don't you, Zach? Right, you can both discuss the exact sum with my banker here, Mr. ZACKERMAN.
There is a small problem. I was hoping to buy £5 million worth of Albion stock, but I have a holdup in cash liquidity.
That is a problem.
I suppose it is a matter of some urgency. If my involvement could be postponed 10 days or 8.
That's too late.
If I had an extra 2 million now, a 5 million purchase could be made by several small companies under various names registered in various places, not traceable to anyone alive.
Maybe if he buys 3 million now and 2...
Zach, I want 5. 5.
I don't have 5 at my immediate disposal.
Oh, Mr. Abjibala, if you're happy with my proposal about the cocoa.
Perfectly.
I could make a down payment of 2 million in advance. We're going to need a hell of a lot of cocoa beans.
Well, that way nothing would be left to chance.
ZACKERMAN will write a check, and Senor Condor, if you'll see my lawyer.
The deal is exciting. I get it in writing.
I can't be bothered with all these trivialities. We've got the money, fuck the personalities. Etherton, will you see you all right for stock?
I'll call you first thing.
I've got the money at 2 million.
For Albion?
I want a better return. Albion won't earn.
Put up your stake, get it doubled by Jake.
Doubled?
He's a good dealer. Let him play with it.
No problem. Give me a week.
I'll go and get the check from ZACKERMAN.
2 million? What are you going to do?
I thought I might invest it in Peru.
Hello? MARYLOU. 4 million, repeat, 4. Arrives Thursday, the usual way.
But the CIA won't help it through unless we agree to give another 10% to the Contras.
But MARYLOU, we Already we pay.
I don't think we have an alternative.
I expect an increase in what I get from you.
No problem. The guys who use it can easily meet a rise in the street price because the street is Wall Street.
So how's the weather?
I haven't looked.
Good work, Jake.
I'll be okay if my hands didn't shake.
Good work, Jake. The franchise I got from Corman. What a pig. I sell, of course, to some American. You will arrange it. No wonder I am so fond. And I put the money in a delicious Euro bond. Yum, yum. I think that is all. One more phone call. Then I go to see BIDDULPH, the White Knight. But you don't mention this to Zach, all right?
This deal's not enough.
What is enough? Don't worry, Jake, you're making it. Just keep on taking and taking and taking it.
I do.
I like to order a tree, maybe a tall, 20 feet tall fig, walnut, banyan, lemon. Yes, that's sweet. Send it, please, to Mr. ZACKERMAN, Klein Merrick, and a card saying, to Zach, with love, from Jacinta, until we meet.
Now, Duckett, your image gets better and better. Have you seen this letter?
No, show me the letter.
MPs of all parties and all leaders, teachers and lawyers and ordinary readers, all hope you'll succeed
Oh, let's have a read.
in stopping the raider who just wants profit.
But we want a profit.
We will make a profit, but at the right time and in the right place, with a smile on our very acceptable face. You do so much good. You give so much enjoyment.
Youth employment.
Yes, youth unemployment, swimming pools, pensioners, toy libraries, art.
What's this about art?
You don't give a fart. I know it. They know it. You just mustn't show it. We're doing so well, Duckett. Don't you dare blow it. You've commissioned a mural called Urban and Rural. It's 60 feet high.
I've commissioned a mural?
And tomorrow, you're joining the Scouts for a hike.
I'm not sure that I like.
You go for a hike. Your picture will be on the front of the mail, and we really can't fail.
You sure we can't fail? Sometimes I dream I'll end up in jail.
But you've done nothing wrong. You're an innocent victim. Corman's the villain. You'll see when we've licked him. He's sure to be up to some terrible schemes.
I just have bad dreams.
Well, don't have bad dreams.
I've done nothing wrong. I'm an innocent victim.
And Corman will lose because we've tricked him. Now, we're needing Senora Condor. What the hell's she want, I wonder?
Mr. Duckett, Miss BIDDULPH, as a major shareholder, I have been wondering whether I should accept Corman's offer.
Oh, you don't want to do that, Senora Condor?
I was hoping you could help me to make up my mind. I don't know how much you know about my country.
It's really absurd from what I have heard. You bear an intolerable burden of debt.
My country is poor. It can't stand much more. I really can see no solution just yet. When I wish to borrow, much to my sorrow, the banks here in Britain are overextended.
I think they might lend a small sum to a friend, and we hope this sad period is very soon ended.
You think my bank, your bank, will lend me money?
I think if I explain the special circumstances, it could probably be arranged.
Senora BIDDULPH, you are pleased with yourself. And certainly so you ought. And Senor Duckett, you don't know your locket is now my decision. You get my support.
We get her support?
Just as we ought.
I sometimes have dreams I'll end up in court.
And now, do you think it is time for a drink?
Time for a drink.
What do you think, Biddulph?
I'm telling you, Duckett, I begin to think, fuck it. Pull yourself together.
So, I've had 3 years pretty much in the wilderness. I've had a great time skiing with my kids. I've bred Tennessee walking horses. But I guess banking's in my blood. I miss the bids. I miss the late nights. I miss the gambles. So now I've gotten my own operation. I figure DURKFELD for the shambles he's made. I can't forgive DURKFELD for the shambles he's made of Klein Merrick. A great nation needs great enterprises, not black plastic and gray lino and guys in polyester. I just bought a Matisse for $7 million. Could have hung in the boardroom.
I guess the old wound's beginning to fester. It's about time you did something drastic. Go for it, Jack. Why don't you sabotage DURKFELD's deals? I've got a lot of stocks coming and going here in arbitrage. Should enable you to give him a few knocks. He's got his fingers in a lot of pies. Oh, no. In the UK, there's Corman Enterprise.
You think I should step in as a white knight?
No, that's already happening, all right? Wouldn't it be far wittier to make Corman himself a target?
I'll buy a stake in Corman straight away. I'll get some little no-good company run by a real punk to take it over and with a lot of junk. And I really like to see DURKFELD in the hospital. Do you happen to have a Corman stock available?
Yes, I kind of thought it might be saleable. How much do you want?
How much have you got?
Let's talk to TK. TK, sell Mr. Merrison all the Corman we've got and buy all you can get straight away. He'll give us a good price and take the lot.
Okay.
Grimes and I were having a glass of poo and playing Pass the Pig, where you throw little pigs like dice. It's a good way to unwind because when trading stocks, you don't know what to do with your mind.
A trotter!
Except my mind was also full of Jake and how he'd been up to something big.
Razorback snout a fucking pig out. I knew Jake was up to something, but I'd never have guessed that that's what it was about.
He might have made $1 million. Trotter, Razorback.
MARYLOU Baines, and he's in it somehow, Zach. Did he leave a will?
I don't know.
Trouter, snouter, fucking nuisance if he's died without a will. Fucking lawyers.
Daddy and I are next of kin.
Oh, will you marry me?
Leave it out, Grimes.
Double snouter. I think I'm going to win. I once threw double snouter 3 times.
Are we playing a pound a point?
Snouter Trouter. There's money he's made already. There's a lot of money still owing him, bound to be. And why can't that be collected by you and me? It's just a matter of tracing his contacts in it. They'll want him replacing. Snouter.
You'll pig out in a minute. There's someone who killed him.
Risk is there to be taken. Trouter, Drowler, fuck it, making bacon. Do I lose all my points for the whole game?
Yes, Grimes. Isn't it a shame? And I've got 45. Trotter, 50. Snouter, 60. Double Razorback, 80. Hell, I've pigged out. Back to 45.
I'd have some questions for Jake if he was still alive. What about your old man?
Denies he got a single tip.
I bet he knows more than he lets on.
He'll be so pissed by now, he might let something slip.
He may know where Jake stashed the loot.
Let's go round there now and put it in the boot. Really, this morning it couldn't have been fouler. Let's drive there now.
Double leaning jowler as I live and breathe.
He's so two-faced. You don't know what to believe. We'll make him talk.
I'm winning. Double fucking leaning jowler.
Bring the pigs.
It's times like this when you need an old friend. We haven't seen each other for a while. I blame myself, but now know that in the end, it's only you that travels the last mile. It helps so much to have someone I'm fond of here to sit and drink and share my grief. There's no one else I'm sure this words is bond. Talking things over gives me such relief.
Do we have a Frosby?
We did.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I got oh, yes, we do have a Frosby. But came up quicker than I thought.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Ah, Greville. There's something.
He wasn't really bad. Some bastard Widskin probably betrayed him. Poor Jakey, how could anybody sell you?
Greville, there's something that I ought to tell you.
Daddy,
SCILLA.
Grimes, a colleague. My dad, Mr. Frosby.
Nice place you got. High ceilings, plenty of headroom, room for a chandelier. How many bedrooms?
6, actually, now that you come to mention it.
Oh, that's all right. I could always build an extension.
It's not for sale.
Oh, no, I was just thinking. I'd give you $500,000.
What are you drinking?
Daddy, tell me the truth, if you're sober enough to talk properly, about Jake.
I'd get an Alsatian and a Doberman.
Darling, I think you're making a mistake.
Do I know more than you? MARYLOU BAINES, yes?
Now, SCILLA.
Don't think you can smile a lot and not tell me. Ill-gotten gains, right? Millions.
I'll get a Rottweiler.
And nobody told me.
I know nothing about...
Nothing?
SCILLA, there is no need to shout. Of course my son would make the odd suggestion.
Where's his money?
There's no question. MARYLOU BAINES?
A Rottweiler's a killer.
What about me?
I protected you, SCILLA. It's bad enough to see a woman get work without her being part of an old boy network.
Fuck off. I want my share.
Your share of what? Daddy's always given you all he's got. My little girl. Jake seems to have been much bigger than that poor old daddy knew. It's as if, as you say, we're really dealing with a 6-0 figure. Where the hell's he hidden it away?
Don't piss about. We haven't got all day. Who's his solicitor?
I'm afraid I don't.
Who's his accountant?
In any case, I won't.
Who is this, an awful lout?
If you really don't know, we should get back.
Ordering everyone about.
It might be more use talking to Zach.
If you're holding out on me, Daddy, you'll be sorry.
We'll have your feet run over by a lorry.
Who is this horrible young vandal? I don't need to know his name. Responsible for all the scandal. He's the one you ought to blame.
You've all been coining it for years.
My lovely city's sadly changed. Sick transitoria, glory passes. Any wonder I'm deranged, surrounded by the criminal classes?
Yeah, you've all been coining it for years. All you fuckwits in the city, it just don't look quite as pretty. All you cunning little jobs when you see them done by yobs.
He's the one you ought to blame.
We're only doing just the same. All you bastards always done, new face in your square mile, making money with a smile. Just as clever, just as vile.
No, he's right. You killed my son.
All your lives you've been in clover, fucking everybody over. You just don't like to see it at it.
SCILLA, I forbid you to associate with this oik.
Daddy, you're trading like a cunt. This is a waste of time. I'm going to see Corman again.
SCILLA, wait. If you find out about Jake's money...
Don't worry, I won't tell you. I'll protect you.
SCILLA?
If you want to sell the house, I can pay cash.
Because of yobs like him, my Jake was led astray. If that wasn't for that bastard, he'd be alive today. It's times like these you need an old friend.
Greville, it's me that told the DTI. I can't quite remember why. It didn't occur to me he'd die.
That afternoon, things were going from bad to worse. Jake was dead, and I just as soon it was me, they'd taken off in a hearse. I just discovered Jacinta and Alabala were no fucking help at all. And I found SCILLA hanging about in the hall.
Zach, I want to see Coleman. Get me in.
Don't talk to me. We may not even win. Jacinta CONDOR supporting BIDDULPH, which may wreck the whole deal, and NIGEL ABJIBALA done God knows what with £2 million check.
Jacinta CONDOR, NIGEL ABJIBALA.
I've got to get this sorted before CORMAN finds out.
But they were in Jake's diary.
SCILLA, don't shout.
Would either of them be likely to kill Jake? Or more important still, could they tell me about his bank account? Which bank is it? And what's the total amount?
They've kicked this dog of a deal when I'd hoped they'd pat it. I've got to find them.
And if it's in a numbered Swiss account, Zach, how do I get at it? Are you going to see Mr. Coleman?
Melissa?
Melissa, someone.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yay.
I don't know his name. I'm having a picture taken. The PR consultant is there with him. He's called DOLCIE STARR. Last time I did a job like this, the bastard put his hand on my crutch. I was ready to walk out. I said, "What's your game? I hope nothing like that is going to happen. I just..."
Can I go instead of you?
How much?
My image is atrocious. Profiteering, decline of British industry, robber gangs. There's even a cartoon here where I'm leering at an innocent girl called Albion and I've got fangs. I want to be seen as Albion's Mr. Right. I need to be transformed overnight. Can you make me look as good as Duckett?
No, I'm afraid he's completely cornered the market in fatherly blue-eyed, babies, workers' friend, someone on whom the CBI can depend.
I'm all that.
No, you're none of that.
Shit.
Cheer up, Corman, you're the opposite.
Then what am I paying you good money for?
Let Duckett be good and a bore. Then you can be bad and glamorous. You'll have top billing by tonight. Everyone loves a villain if he's handled right. Bad has connotations of amorous.
Bad and glamorous.
2 dimensions, spiritual and physical. First, spiritual.
That's Duckett's area. He's a lay preacher. You don't want me to be a Muslim.
No, secular spiritual. Art. For you to reach a wide audience, it's absolutely essential. You sponsor...
Duckett sponsors arts.
He sponsors provincial orchestras. You need national theatre for power, opera for decadence, string quartets bearing your name for sensitivity and elegance, and a fringe show with bad language for a thrill. That should take care of the spiritual. Now the physical. It's a pity you haven't a yacht.
I'll buy one now.
Now, we'll work with what we've got. I do recommend a sex scandal.
Sex scandal? That's the last thing.
Will you let me handle this? You think because you're already scandalous in the financial...
I don't want...
But that's the point. Fight scandal with scandal. We'll provide a young girl who'll say you did it 8 times a night. Your wife is standing by you, so that's all right.
I'm not married.
There could be a suggestion the girl might take her life. If it's necessary, we'll provide the wife.
I'm not sure.
There's ugly greedy and sexy greedy, you dope. At the moment, you're ugly, which is no hope. If you stay ugly, God knows what your fate is. But sexy greedy is the late 80s.
What about AIDS? I thought sexy was out.
The more you don't do it, the more it's fun to read about. We might have made you make a statement about taking care. Wicked and responsible. The perfect chairman.
I don't think I...
We can take the pictures straight away. Melissa!
Pictures?
You don't have to do a thing, not even kiss her.
Mrs. Ill, on SCILLA, the replacement.
Mr. Corman, you need to stand more adjacent.
I can't stop working while you take pictures. Zach, where the fuck's he gone and why isn't he back? You again?
I have important news for you about Albion, if you'll tell me more about Jake.
What news?
Jacinta CONDOR?
What about her?
How much did he make?
Please, look fonder.
How much did you pay him?
200 grand.
And what did he do with it?
If you just took her hand.
And what about Senora?
She's supporting BIDDULPH's bid.
Could you be more affectionate? Keep still, please. Please smile. Smile, kid.
Kill the bitch. I knew there was something funny.
He was so fucking rich. Who else gave him money?
What else? Is that the law?
ABJIBALA.
What?
More about Jake or I won't say a word.
I could name 6 companies he's dealt with, 4 merchant banks and 2 MPs, and that's only what I heard. Your brother was widely respected in the city. Now what about ABJIBALA? Have some pity.
I'll tell you about him for a small fee. 3 companies, 2 banks, and 1 MP.
That's the way. That's what we like to see. Looks as if you're having a lot of fun. If we have we'll have the front page story of the Sun.
ABJIBALA's gone off with the 2 million you gave him.
Not bought my stock. There's nothing going to save him, Zach. Hang on a minute. You can't use these. This girl's a sister of the dead whiz kid in today's papers.
And that's a scandal with which you've got no connection.
No, that's a scandal where there is a connection, but I don't want it known. I just want to be connected with the fictitious scandal where I got some permanent erection. 8 times a night, maybe 4. Let's be plausible.
Well, we can't let the whole story escape us. This other scandal's a high-profile thriller. Terrific pictures. What's your name? Scilla?
No, please.
What's this about 8 times a night?
You make a statement to the press saying...
Right. Keep paying or I'll agree. 3 companies.
2 banks.
2 banks.
1 MP.
1 MP. I've never seen Mr. Corman before. From what I do, from what I do see, he's an awful bore.
Great, more, don't skimp.
He's physically repellent. What a wimp.
Oh, okay, I get it. What publicity? Why don't you people appreciate publicity? You've wasted a lot of film. Where's Melissa?
If you want a job, most of the people who work for me are mentally defective.
Maybe later, when I finished being a detective.
Zach, Etherton, I want blood. What the fuck is going on?
Hold on, I've got ABJIBALA right here.
Where's my money? You better start talking fast. If you can stick your cocoa beans up your ass, where's my 2 million pounds?
I'm delighted to have this opportunity of explaining how, by judicious speculation, I plan to increase the sum you gave me so that I can buy even more shares in support of your acquisition. I think I may certainly say with impunity that when you expect of me...
ABJIBALA, I've been tricked. I gave you 2 million pounds on the strict understanding that you'd go. Etherton.
We've lost her.
What's going on? What the hell is this? Who let him in? Sack the receptionist.
GREVETT?
Oh, to finish your sentence, Mr. Corman,
What is going
I
on?
identified myself to your receptionist.
As
I
GREVETT.
identified myself to your receptionist as GREVETT from the Department of Trade and Industry. People don't usually refuse to see me.
Very nice to meet you, Mr. GREVETT.
I was assured Mr. GREVETT would be, we'd be delighted to assist with his inquiries in any way we could. We know the DTI is a force for good.
Delighted.
What was that about £2 million?
I thought it might interest you because it sounds unusual, but in fact...
What was it, Zach?
Mr. Corbin is paying Klein Merrick, the bank I work for, £2 million for advisory services.
The
Sounds rivalry, considering the immense...
I believed he was addressing this gentleman.
By no means.
Mr. ABJIBALA, who supplies our cocoa beans?
So, the sum in question was to do with the cocoa trade?
No.
Oh,
Yes, that is no, but we have made some arrangements to do with cocoa, which are being discussed.
But the £2 million was a payment to Klein.
yes, that side of the business is all mine.
Ah, Mr. ABJIBALA, you can confirm, I trust, that you never received the sum of $2 million.
I only wish I had.
The suggestion seems to cause you some amusement. I have to establish, you see, that is no inducement, financial or otherwise, was offered to by Mr. Corman to buy stock to help support his price.
£2 million would be extremely nice, but no, Mr. GREVETT, I assure you, an account of the cocoa trade would only bore you.
And you, Mr. Corman, would confirm?
Absolutely.
It sounded as if you were asking him to return £2 million. I must have misunderstood. You weren't asking.
No. Why should I? I never gave him £2 million check. I never gave him a £2 million check.
So naturally, he can't ask for it back. I must be going. I've meetings to attend. Good afternoon, Mr. Corman.
Wait,
What?
nothing.
I've got to talk to you. You were a friend of my brother, Jake.
Nigel.
This is crazier and crazier.
No, above it. Who? I never met him.
Who? I never met him.
It seems to be very easy to forget him. Do you owe him money?
This is crazier and crazier. If you don't excuse me, if you'll excuse me, I have a very important meeting about cocoa stocks in Malaysia.
Does the name Jake Todd ring a bell?
No. Oh, yes. In the paper. Most unfortunate. I hope the stupid bastard rots in hell.
Not someone with whom you were personally acquainted?
No, not at all. He seems to have been tainted by allegations of...
I don't wish to be importune, but I was wondering if it would be possible for me to cast an eye over any papers relating to your interest in Albion. Just a formality.
This way.
Your involvement, Mrs. Etherton, naturally goes a long way to reassure us of the transaction's total legality.
There could, of course, be aspects of which I wasn't aware because my participation wasn't required.
Etherington, you're fired. We'll give him a pile of papers 10 feet high and keep him busy till after the deal's completed. Fuck the DETI, Zach. I refuse to be defeated. I don't care if I go to jail. I'll win whatever the cost. They may say I'm a bastard, but they'll never say I lost.
There's one thing. Gleason called and said he's seeing Lear at the National. Would you meet him and have a word at the interval? I don't know why you're being asked to meet a cabinet minister. I hope it's nothing sinister. But when the government asks you for a date, you don't stand them up.
Oh.
Whether we'll get away with this is anybody's game. My guess is no. And to think Jacinta Candor, oh, God, what an awful mess.
She knew Jake, didn't she? ABJIBALA denied it.
He's the key to all the deals. Of course, they're going to hide it.
I want to meet them.
Scilla, we all have to lie low.
I want to meet all his contacts because someone's going to know where his money is.
It'll be a nominee company, and God knows where. No one except maybe MARYLOU BAINES might know.
And I'll go and see MARYLOU BAINES. She's the one who made him.
No, Scilla, I didn't mean...
Yes, yes. She'll know where his money is because she'll know how she paid him. Do you think she owes him money? Maybe I could collect.
Scilla?
I'll go to New York tonight.
Scilla, we must keep out of the news. If you're going to be stupid, I'll call MARYLOU and warn her, and she'll refuse.
How much does Mr. GREVETT of the DTI suspect? I could go have a word with him.
Scilla, don't be absurd.
I could have my picture in the papers with Coleman alleging all kinds of capers and linking him publicly with bad Jake Todd.
Scilla, you wouldn't. God.
So call MARYLOU BAINES and tell her I'm on my way to Heathrow and she's to see me. Do it.
At least you'll be out of England.
I'll send you a postcard.
Scilla, I thought you were some kind of English rose.
Go stick the thorns up your nose, bozo.
Somewhere along the line, I really blew it.
So, how would you like to acquire a multinational?
Mr. Merrison, this hardly seems rational. My company is really extremely small. You realize our only product is those little balls of gum you buy in the street out of machines. If Coleman took me over, I'd understand it, but I'm not really cut out for a corporate bandit. I've hardly got out from under my last creditor, and now you're trying to turn me into a predator.
Smaller you are, the bigger the triumph for me. I can raise $4 billion of junk.
Mr. Merrison, I'm afraid I'm in a funk. I don't know what to say. What are you doing?
I'm using you, Mr. SOAT, to humiliate someone I have good reason to hate.
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't like to ruin Missouri gumballs. It seems kind of dumb.
No, don't take my gum. I'll think about it. I thought about it. Great. Enjoying the show?
I'm not watching it.
It's excellent, of course. They're not botching it. But after a hard day's work, my eyes keep closing. I keep jerking awake when they shout.
It's hard to follow the plot when you keep dozing. What exactly is this meeting about?
Yes, Goneril and Reagan and Ophelia. Good of you to come. We have two conflicting interests. One on hand, it's natural the investor wants to make all the profit he can. On the institution's duty to the pensioners, it does put the onus on the short-term plan. On the other hand, one can't help but mention the problem that creates for this industry, who need long-term research and development in order to create more employment. It's hard to reconcile, but we really must try.
I totally agree with the CBI. Long-term interest mustn't be neglected. The responsibility of management.
We, by which I mean, of course, the government, recognize the loss that nothing's perfect. That's something you learn in politics. We want to cut the top rate of tax, and profit-related pay is a good incentive. But we do think these things have gone too far in the quick profit short-term direction. We would interfere in a free market, but we are, of course, approaching an election.
Absolutely, and I hope to give more than moral support to the party. I've already been a staunch conservative.
My dear fellow, nobody doubts your loyalty. That's why I have so little hesitation in asking this small service to the nation. Drop your bid, give up, and leave it alone.
Out of the question. Sorry, out of the question.
I absolutely appreciate the problem.
Leave me alone. Will you do my job?
I'm sorry, Corman, but I must forbid it. A takeover like this in the present climate makes you and the city and us look greedy. Help us be seen to care about the needy. Help us to counteract the effect of debit.
What if I say no?
Well, I wouldn't like to dwell on the unsavory story of that young man's suicide.
Are you threatening me?
I do admire your bravery. But no, my colleagues in DTI did, I believe, call on you today?
Leave it out, Gleason. I've had enough. DTI, I'm going to call your bluff. If my takeover is going to hurt your image, another scandal would do far much damage.
Oh, Mr. Corman, I'll be brutally frank. A scandal will not be welcomed by the bank, nor will it be tolerated by the Tories. Whenever your businessmen do something shitty, some of it gets wiped off on the city. And the government's smelly from the nasty stories. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, take your seats.
Us businessmen, the banks are full of crap.
So if you persist and make a nasty mess, not a single bank will handle your business.
You can't do that, Gleason. Don't make me laugh.
Corman, please don't make my patience snap. I wouldn't want to miss the second half. You drop your bid, we stop the DTI.
You'd stop the scandal breaking anyway. You telling me you can't control the press?
Yes, but we'd break you. Do you want to try? You drop the bid. We stop the DTI.
Why pick on me? Everyone's the same. I'm just as good at playing a rough game.
Exactly, and the game must be protected. You can go on playing after we're elected. 5 more glorious years, free enterprise, and your service to industry will be recognized.
Huh. Right, good. At least in knighthood.
Oh, he canceled the deal.
And how do you feel?
Exhausted.
I'll get you a drink. At least we can meet. You're not rushed off to your feet. I think I like this better.
Well, sit down. I still can't forgive you for going to BIDDULPH. The whole deal would have been wrecked.
But I can get more money that way, Zach. Really, what do you expect? I can't do bad business just because I feel romantic.
The way you do business, Jacinta, drives me completely frantic.
I love the way you are so obsessed when you're thinking about your bids.
I love that terrible hospital scam and the drug-addicted kids.
That's true, Zach. I love the way you never stop work. I hate a man who is lazy.
The way you unloaded your copper mines drove me completely crazy.
Zach, you're so charming. I'm almost as fond of you as I am of Eurobond.
Oh, I thought we'd never manage to make a date. You're more of a thrill than changing interest rate.
This is a very public place to meet.
Maybe we ought to go up to your suite. Did you ever play with a hoop when you were a child, and when it stopped turning, it falls flat? I feel kind of like that.
I am very happy. My feeling for you is so deep. But will you mind very much if we go to sleep?
Maybe I should retire while my career is at its pinnacle. Working in the city can make one rather cynical. When an oil tanker sank with 100 men, the lads cheered because they'd make 1,000,000. When Sadat was shot, I was rather chaffed because I was long of gold bullion. Life's been very good to me. I think I'll work for Oxfam.
Thought the sun would never set. Thought I'd be extremely rich. Can't be certain what you'll get. I've heard the young say life's a bitch. Betrayed my oldest friend. It didn't give me too much fun. My way of life is at an end. At least I have a friendly gun. My word is my junk bond.
I've eaten too many crab claws.
You'll be sick in the cab again.
You'll get stick from your wife again.
You don't care if I'm late.
What's she up to then?
Watch it.
Late city, no pity.
Guy meets a guy and he says, "What do you do for a living?" And he says, "I hurt people." He says, "You hurt people?"
Sounds like my girlfriend.
He says, "Yes, I hurt people for money. I'm a hitman."
Sounds like a traitor.
How much was it?
Bet it was $250.
Bet it was 300.
How much?
10.
$285.
Told you, all that crab.
Oh, break a leg, 500 pounds, break it back, 1,000.
I know him, he works for life.
And he says, I'm glad I met you because my neighbor's carrying on with my wife. So he takes him home and he says, sees the lighted window. That's where they are. I want her dead. How much would it cost to shoot her through the head?
You can get rid of your money in Crete. Hire every speedboat, drink till you pass out, eat till you puke, then you're still loaded with drocks.
Drac attack.
Why is a clitoris like a philofax?
Every cunt's got one.
Uh,
And he says, $5,000. And he says, now my neighbor, what would it cost if you shot off his prick and his balls? And he says, that's $5,000 and all. So he says, $10,000. So yes, all right, it's worth it. Go on. So the hitman stood there by the garden gate and he points his gun at the window and he stood there and he says, get on with it. And the hitman says, wait, time is right and I'll save you $5,000.
I'll save you $5,000.
Two Eurobond dealers walking through Trafalgar Square. One of them said, what would you do if a bird shat on your head? He said, I don't think I'll ask her out again.
I don't think I'd ask her out again.
Hi, I'm TK, MARYLOU Barnes' personal assistant.
Dear MARYLOU Baines, I've just flown in from London. I've come here straight off the plane. I'm Jake Todd's sister, and I've got some information that I didn't want to trust to the telephone, so I've brought it myself personally to its destination.
Miss Baines won't see you, I'm afraid, but if you'd like to give me your information instead, I'm setting up business myself and can guarantee you receive service second to none, because it's always those who are starting up who work hardest because they want to get ahead. So, can I help you?
I didn't spend 6 hours crossing the Atlantic to be fobbed off by a personal assistant.
I'm sorry about this, but it is part of my job description to be resistant.
I warn you, I'm very tired and I'm getting frantic. And MARYLOU will get a terrible fright tomorrow morning if she doesn't see me tonight.
If you just give me some indication of what your problem's about.
Get out of my way! Out! Out! Out!
So, Todd's sister, you come flying from London with information?
No, I was lying. You don't get information this time, MARYLOU. I want to know things from you.
You can ask.
I had been wondering if you killed Jim, but now I hardly care. It's not going to bring him alive again, and the main thing's to get my share. They left me out because I'm a girl, and it's terribly unfair. You were Jake's main employer? So tell me, please, how did you pay him his enormous fees? Did someone pass a briefcase of notes at a station under a clock? Or did you make over a whole lot of stock? Did he have a company, and what's its name? And how can I get in on the game? You'll need a replacement in London who knows their way round the businesses and banks. Can I suggest somebody?
No, thanks.
If you don't help me, I'll go to the authorities and tell them.
Is this blackmail?
Yes, of course. I can put you in jail.
I'll take the risk. I'm a risk arbitrager, so run off home.
And nobody in America runs better risks than her.
You can stick your armitrage up your arse. If you don't tell me about his company, you'll find me quite a dangerous enemy. I'm greedy and completely amoral. I've the cunning and connections of the middle class, and I'm tough as a yaw.
SCILLA, don't let's quarrel. My personal assistant's leaving. Do you want a job?
Right now?
Sure, TK. You said you wanted out. SCILLA wants so out.
One thing I've learned from working for MARYLOU: do others before they can do you.
Oh, SCILLA never came back. She sent me a postcard of the Statue of Liberty saying, "Bye-bye, Zack." She never did find out who killed her brother, but I'm sure it wasn't Corman or Jacinta or MARYLOU or any of us who didn't want Jake to talk to the DPI. Who wanted him out of the way? The British government, because another scandal just before election would have been too much fuss. So I reckon it was MI5 or the CIA. Or could he even have shot himself? The kid wasn't stable. There's bound to be endless scandal in a city, but really it's incidental. It can be a nuisance because it gives the wrong impression. And if people lose confidence in us, there could be a big recession. Sure, this is a dangerous system and it could crash any minute. And I sometimes wake up in bed and I think, is Armageddon AIDS, nuclear war, or crash? And how will I end up dead? But that's just before breakfast. What really matters is the massive sums of money being passed around the world, and trying to appreciate the size can drive you mental. There haven't been a million days since Christ died, so think a billion. That's 1,000 million. And have you tried? Think a trillion. think $1 trillion a day. That's the gross national product of the USA. There's people who say the American eagle is more like a vulture. I say don't piss on your own culture. Naturally, there's a whole lot of greed. There's no problem because money buys freedom. So the Tories kept the scandal to the minimum. GREVILLE Todd was arrested and put in prison to show the government was serious about keeping the city clean, and nobody shed any tears. And the Conservatives romped home with a landslide victory for 5 more glorious years, which was handy, though not essential, because it would have taken far more than labor to stop us. I've been having a great time raising $16 billion to build a satellite, and I reckon I can wrap it up tonight.
SCILLA's been named by Business Week as Wall Street's rising star.
GREVILLE walked out of the open prison, but he didn't get very far.
You're
Unmute.
Grimes does insider dealing for SCILLA and MARYLOU, and he bought Greville's house too.
Jake's ghost appeared to Jacinta one midnight in Peru.
Jacinta marries Zach next week, and they honeymoon in Shanghai. Good business to be done in China now.
Nigel ABJIBALA doing something in Dubai.
Lord Corman's helping organize the tunnel under the channel. He's also chairman of the board of the National Theatre.
ETHERINGTON runs the city's new disciplinary panel.
Look at how the breakdown was given ECT.
finished running Albion and is big in TV. ITV.
TK ended up in jail because of some funny tricks.
MARYLOU Barnes ran for president in 1996.
Marrison's been ambassador to London, Paris, and Rome.
DURKFELD had a heart attack one quiet Sunday at home. SOAT acquired CORMAN Enterprise and is a dangerous reputation.
DOLCIE does his PR, so she's loved by the whole nation.
Terry went to Chicago and did a lot of coke.
Vince spent every penny he earned and thought it was a joke.
Kathy's got a telly spot, advice on buying shares.
Joanne became a trader and soon she moved upstairs.
Martin moved to Eurobonds.
Brian bought a deer park.
Dave went to Australia and was eaten by a shark.
Yeah.
Frosby was forgotten.
End of the play.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
wow, 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 wow.
That was very long.
Anybody
Yeah.
check? Who said it would be a really long read at the beginning? Right.